And we are live. What's going on, fellas? What up,
What's up?
everyone in the chat? Guys, today is a Stranger Things live. We're going to be talking everything Stranger Things. Also, if you guys have any questions about anything else Disney stuff related, please feel free to put it in the chat. We're going to start with a lot of Stranger Things stuff, but we'll eventually get to your questions. First, we're going to start with the trailer. We're going to do a breakdown of the trailer. We're going to watch it, break it down, and get your guys' opinions. And then we're going to discuss what the gentleman liked and disliked about season 5. There's a lot of things that Jay and I, shout out to Jay, thank you for joining us again. There's a lot of things that we talked about that I would love Tommy and Jared's opinion on. So we'll get to that. But first, we're going to introduce everyone. Jared, thank you again for joining, brother. Appreciate you so much. Tell the people what you do and where they can find you as well.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always a good time. I like talking about these things. I talk about theme parks and entertainment, pop culture over here on YouTube at Cap the Magic, so you can find me there. And I was fully caught up on Stranger Things as of like 4 days ago, and I immediately texted Jay. I was like, I'm caught up. I can, because I was on like blackout. I was trying not to get anything ruined, which my wife actually got something ruined. I stayed away from it, so I went into it pretty fresh. But I'm happy to or excited to talk about it. I loved season 1. I really enjoyed season 4, and I'm curious on 5. I'm very curious what you guys think about some things there. But yeah, that's where you can find me, Cap the Magic, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you again for joining, chat. I'm gonna have everything in the description below afterwards, and then you guys can feel free to come back to the video and go follow these fine gentlemen. Tommy Toon, first time I think on my channel. I know we've done videos previously, but I think your first time on my channel. But I appreciate you for coming. If you could tell the people where they can find you and what you do on your channel.
Man, first time on Tones TV. Good looking out, bro. I appreciate you. It's good hanging out with you too, Jared and Jay. I'm excited to talk some Stranger Things. But yeah, man, I get a lot of food reviews going at Vegas, theme parks, anywhere you want. So, you can find me on YouTube at Tommy Toon World, on Instagram at Tommy Toon _ And man, I caved and I'm on TikTok. So Tommy Toon _ world.
Yeah, Chad, go make sure you go give him a follow. I remember the first time I did, or we were at what ride was it? Indy. We're at Indy.
Yeah,
and,
Indy, right.
And Tommy goes, "Hey, we're gonna do a cookie review." So I did a cookie review in the Indy line. It was fucking hilarious, bro. I loved it. I fucking loved it. But yeah, chat, go follow Tommy Toon. And then Jay Shear. Always a pleasure, brother. Always good to do a video with you. We're gonna get some different opinions that we had in the first 2 videos that we did. So I'm excited to see what they say. But introduce yourself if you can again to those who don't know who you are.
Yeah, so you've probably seen me on this channel. On the last Stranger Things thing we did, we went for like hour and a half. Pretty soon we will have done shows as long as the show is.
Exactly.
Which is awesome. So thanks for having me on, Tones. You can find me over at How Stories Work with Jay Shear, where I'm just breaking down movies and trying to understand how to film them better. You can also see my short film Disclosure poster here behind me on the wall. You can see that over at How Stories Work with Jay Shear. And I'll be honest, if you're feeling down and you need to pick me up, dude, go listen to Tommy Toon, man. This guy is a hype magician. Love it.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, guys, for those who don't know me, I'm Tones. I do a bunch of movie and TV show reviews. We do a lot of stuff on TikTok. For those who don't follow me on TikTok, go to Tones_TV. We have a lot of lives there, huge discussions after episodes of shows. We're gonna watch the new Fallout that just dropped about an hour ago. We're gonna watch that tonight and do a review on that tomorrow. So go to Tones_TV. Everything comes out there first, and then we do long form videos here on YouTube. So don't forget to the subscribe button on all of our channels that are broadcasting out right now. But first, gentlemen, we're gonna start in at the trailer, season 5, volume 2 trailer. One thing that we did for this or for trailer reviews is we score them, but I feel like scoring these on a live show. You guys can, but I personally don't like doing it. For some reason, I don't like scoring anymore because I feel like an 8 for someone else could mean it's freaking like trash, but I think an 8 is amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped rating things, but you guys can feel free to rate the Stranger Things trailer. But we're gonna watch that first. We're gonna get your guys' opinion, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
All right, let's get it. Here we go.
We failed. We never stood a chance.
This is not over. Not by a long shot.
This whole time, everything we have ever assumed about the Upside Down has been dead wrong. Mother of God.
Oh, shit.
Help me find him. Kill him.
I love Murray.
Kind of thought that was supposed to be the easy part.
It was.
Oh,
I don't know what's on the other side of any of this. If we want to stand a chance of surviving, we need to be a team. It is time
dude, holy shit.
for new world. You die, I die.
Oh, better not.
You die, I die.
Better not. Okay, real quick. Has there ever been a villain with more aura than fucking Vecna? Or am I tripping?
Bro,
Holy shit.
he's up there, bro. I'm the only thing I could say is Vecna versus Terrifier. Maybe that'd be it.
Dude, yes, bro.
That would be
Well,
it.
okay, I want to start because I think, like I said, Vecna is one of my favorite villains of all time. But in the trailer, of course, we see Mr. What's It one. We see Henry Creel and we see Vecna. Of course, they're all one person, but in the trailer, we see him shape shifting, which I thought was very interesting because in previous theories that I had, that I thought Henry Creel was kind of stuck in his own mind, and Vecna was like its own entity and his own person taking over like his physical body. But in that trailer, that kind of just throws my theory out the window because he's shape shifting into all these characters that we see on the stairs, which I believe is at the Wheeler house where he
It
was
is,
walking
but I
down.
think isn't that in his mind realm though?
Yeah.
That was
It
kinda what
looks
I was
like
thinking.
it's in his mind. Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Right.
too. So maybe he's changing in front of Holly Wheeler into his, final form, right? Because
right.
it's her
yeah.
mind. You know how like Freddy Krueger does or whatever.
Yeah. Yes, I don't know. Like that, I think that's the one thing that I took out of that trailer. Obviously, we're seeing Will kind of tap into the hive mind again within that trailer. Then we see Holly and Max running from which we believe is Vecna. But that was a awesome trailer, which told us a lot of what we're going to see in the next volume. But we'll start with you, Jared. What was your opinion on the trailer?
It seems like it picks up because we'll get into it. I think season 5 so far has been kind of slow till the 4th episode. I told Jay this. I'm not predicting, but I'm not gonna be surprised if there's time travel. It might be. Lost kind of did it in a unique way where it was like, did you ever guys watch Lost?
Yeah.
So
I have
Desmond
not, no.
was not the specifics there, but it was like the island was time traveling and Desmond was involved with it. I kind of feel like you've got elements of that. There's little Easter eggs there that they've had in season 5. Obviously, they're alluding to the Upside Down being completely different than what we've known. So I'm very curious about that, like whatever that ball of energy is. Yeah, I'm intrigued. Like I said, season 5 so far, I've been kind of like, it's not as good as 4 so far, but it seems like they're really going to build this up in the last few episodes. So it did its job to like, I'm intrigued. I'm in. I'm curious what they're going to do, but I wouldn't say it's like the best trailer I've ever seen or anything like that. But for a show I'm already into, I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I think the trailer was good for me just because we kind of guessed on what was going to happen next as far as what they're going to be telling us. And of course, there's only 4 episodes left, but they kind of gave us a lot of what we're going to see in the trailer, which is awesome. We get to see them in the Upside Down. We get to see whatever that fucking energy orb is, and then we see, you know, Will, like I said, tapping in back into the hive mind. So I'm excited to see what they do there, and they told us what pretty much what they're setting up for, and I love that part. What about you, Tommy?
I love the trailer, man. It gets you pumped. It gets you ready to go, definitely,
Yeah.
for the show. So, you know, if I'm going to start kind of like how Jared started. So when season 5 was going to start, I could have swore we were going to get Upside Down and the real world merged together, and it was going to be some like apocalypse war, and like 11 was going to, you know, have like a mask on and doing crazy stuff, and like there's demigorgons and the demi-dogs attacking real people and everything. That's how 4 kind of ended, right?
Yeah.
Like it was like this big, you know, crack, and everybody was coming through. But, you know, then going to what Jared was saying about time travel, you know, like Upside Down, supposedly it stopped. The time frame stopped the day that Will got put like underneath or kidnapped, right? So that could still be time travel because in there the time stopped, right? But then, like, you know, all those rumors online about like Dimension X and stuff, I just don't know what's legit. But let's, you know, bring it back to the trailer. Man, Steve and Dustin have different clothes on, so they get out for sure. There's no TV show ever that's dropped a trailer that teased to death that like that's actually they died, right? So like, I mean, I think 8's gonna die. I think she'll sacrifice herself, right? I think 8 will go. We really don't care about 8. I mean, we do, but that was that episode, right? That episode was that one that none of the fans really cared for. They're kind of trying to bring it back. I'm gonna let Jay go in a second, but I have a lot to say. So I have a lot of stuff that I think, like theory wise, that could happen multiple different ways. But then, like, to be honest, there's ways that I don't want it to go like at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. What about you, Jay?
I thought the trailer was fantastic for one primary reason, and that is I didn't want anything to lead me down a path of knowing what was going to happen. And this trailer does not do that, right? It like doesn't go there at all. So I like the trailer a lot for that reason. And dude, for whatever reason, they did this with season 4. The volume 1 trailer for season 4, the volume 1 trailer for season 5 are very mid trailers, dude. They're not even that great. But the volume 2 trailers in both cases, they bring in a banger song that they adjust to sound like it's, you know, the synth. They bring the synth into it to the song. I thought that was amazing. So they didn't tell me anything, which is great. They just told me the one thing that they told me that I didn't get from volume 1 and I didn't like in volume 1 was that when volume 1 ended, I thought, dude, it's going to be easy now. They've got 8, they've got 11, and they've got Will. Like, they're good to go, man. Like, this is, but the first thing you hear is like, oh, we're in dire straits, right? Like, we're in big trouble. And I think that I think volume 2 is going to be The Empire Strikes Back. I think at the end of volume 2, things are going to keep getting worse and worse and worse, and then we're going to have to wait for New Year's Eve till the 3rd volume comes out, and then they turn it around. So
they finally catch their break.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that for me. That's what
I actually think there will be a big death on the last episode before the final one. That's kind of my guess. I think there'll be some. I think Robin. I don't think Robin's going to make it, which I can't say I'm upset about because she talks way too much. I would. Hopper's interesting. I could see them like either Hopper dying or staying. Like, there's some characters where it's like sometimes you have these obvious ones that you think like, oh, that person's not going to make it. There's none that like obviously stand out to me besides 8. Like, I don't think 8 is going to stick around, but I'm curious about 11. If there's going to be some, or like Will, I could see Will being plugged into the hive mind. That if they get rid of it, it gets rid of him. But that could also be too obvious too.
See, I don't like talking about who's gonna die when I'm on TikTok, because for one, people just pass by quick and they're like, and I say, oh, I think Will's gonna die. Like they're just passing by and like, holy fuck, Will's gonna die. So I don't like doing that. But on here, yeah, I will talk about it right now because I think Lucas, Robin, and Mike, I don't think they're gonna die because of what we saw in the last episode of them almost dying because of the Demogorgons and then Will stopping them. Hopper almost died in season 3.
And then the fake out, right?
Yeah. And then we all thought he was dead. I don't think they would do that again to us. I don't think they're going to kill him again. Jonathan, there's a potential that he might die because of the whole ring situation. A lot of people are speculating the ring stuff. Now, to me, I don't think that ring's for Nancy because they're butting heads a little too much. I think he's holding that ring for Hopper, for Joyce.
Oh, wow. That's great, dude. I'm liking that.
Now, I don't know. That could be wrong, but I'm saying that I think he's doing that for a reason. Now, because of what we see in their relationship, they're kind of like butting heads. They're not telling. He didn't want to tell her where he was going to school at and all this stuff. Like the relationship's not strong for him to want to propose. So I don't think that ring is his. But if anything, Jonathan, maybe Mike. No, not Mike. Maybe Will. Because one thing that I do see happening is that I think Vecna, because he made Will with powers, or he gave Will the powers to tap into the hive mind and get those powers.
Right.
I think Vecna is going to overestimate what he did to Will. And he thought Will was weak-minded. He thought Will was this person that could be controlled, but he overestimated Will's, I guess, strength. And Will be able to turn on Vecna in the very end. That's what I think is going to happen. If Will dies, he's going to sacrifice himself and kill him and Vecna. But that can also be really wrong because I don't think they would do what they did in season 1 to Will and then all of a sudden have him die at the very end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Counterpoint to that though, he's so tied in. Like he's getting hurt every single time one of them's taking bullets. So like I don't know, like or especially when they get the flamethrower stuff. So I don't know. I kind of feel like Will's gonna have to die. But he's gonna have to, because one of the things that we wanted Will to do is like take agency for himself, because he's just the traumatized one the entire time, right? So like I feel like his arc is to take agency for himself, but I'm not sure they can do much. Like he can do much else after he takes agency for himself. Yeah, I'm not sure that there's much left to do. Whereas like some of the other characters, it feels like they have futures. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think Will.
Well, also as much as Joyce was babying him, and he kept saying like, you know, she's still worried about him. Like that could be his way of like, this is my decision. I'm doing this, and yeah, exactly. I could see that
exactly.
But yeah, there's a lot of potential on. There's not a lot of. There's a lot of theories on who could die, but it has to make sense too. And the Duffer Brothers have came out and said it's not going to be this depressing ass ending where just everyone dies. And he's like, this isn't Game of Thrones. Like he specifically said, this is not Game of Thrones. It's not going to end like Game of Thrones. It's going to be sad. It's going to be emotional, but we're not ending it. And then fucking Daenerys is dead. You know, it's not going to be like that. So that's a good sign as far as it not being one of those endings where it's a death that ruined everything or didn't make sense. So I'm glad, I hope it doesn't end like that. But yeah, that's the trailer, boys. What do you guys anticipate to happen next within the next volume 2? Don't go to the finale yet. What do you think is gonna happen in volume 2?
I'm very curious. Max's whole thing is interesting, like being lost in Vecna's mind. That part I find like I kind of get the idea that there's going to be an attack on Vecna physically, or like the Demogorgons, and you've got Will and 11 and that whole crew, and then you have inside Vecna. I feel like it's going to be this like 3-pronged attack toward the end of trying to take him out. So I'm wondering if her and Holly end up getting out, or they just stay in the rest of the season. I'm kind of curious about that. And like if there's other kids that get brought into there, do they recruit them? So that part I find intriguing, and it's kind of interesting. And like, why is Vecna or Henry so scared of that cave? Like that's like when that happened, I was like, that's interesting. So like obviously something happened in there. I'm assuming when he was a child. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, I'm getting time travel vibes. I'm getting Harry Potter vibes as well. Will reminds me a ton of Voldemort and Harry in terms
I
of
like
like
it.
he's getting his power from him. And in that one, Harry didn't die whenever Voldemort died. So you do have that potential of from storytelling where he may not die. I could see it either way there. But that's the first thing I thought. I said to my wife, I'm like, this is giving me like major Harry Potter vibes. And she's like, yeah, kind of. And then like the time traveling thing, like that. I love time travel if it's done right. So that could be cool. Because I could also see a scenario where, let's say something horrible happens, and then somehow you do, it's kind of like the Avengers style. You go back in time, maybe into the underground, whatever it is, like to try and fix something. I could see something like that maybe happening too.
I hope they fucking don't do it like that.
I'm not saying
my
I would
God.
like it, but
No,
I would
no,
be
yeah.
like shocked at that trope, given it's kind of
God,
popular now to do that.
I've made it very clear on my opinion when it comes to time travel, especially when it comes to the fucking Marvel universe. Like, it's just it's a cop out to the extreme when
100%.
someone dies and they go back and get a fucking new person from a new timeline. No, but in my opinion, and Jay and I kind of talked about the time travel thing. If they do it properly and it makes sense, where they don't have to go back in time to like change events, I'm all for it. I'm all for the time travel. But if they have to go back in time or go forward in time and somehow I don't think we've seen enough time travel yet for it to make sense for them to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, other than going to the Upside Down, which is stuck on November 6th, the day Will went missing. But I mean, you could consider that a time travel, but it's not like they're hopping in a fucking machine or like a portal to get to the Upside Down to time travel because it's stuck on one day. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Man, that's a good point. And then, like, you know, for me, I like all this stuff with Henry Creel and stuff, but not as much. You know, I could care less about the Broadway play. I know a lot of people like the Broadway stuff, but they're going to have to finish that little mini story arc, right? For this one, I would say in these three, and that Mr. What's It, all that story arc's going to have to end before the New Year's one. So I assume they're all going to get out of the mind. And then I just wonder what Holly Wheeler's significance is. They're not going to kill off her, but she's going to have some form of power against somebody. So I have a question for you guys. I'm going to get off the rant first and then let you guys answer. But do you guys want Vecna to end on this episode, the third episode, and then go into the finale? Or do you want Vecna to be the overarching and then he's in the finale? Like, because for me, it's like I see all these theories online. I had my own theories. One of my theories was that, you know, Mike's going to have to pick either Will or 11, but now Will saved Mike, so that was kind of like a rendition of what I was thinking. I still think Will's going to have to go or 11. I think we keep forgetting about that wall. They're going to have to get over that wall or get through that wall, and then you just don't know how and then who's going to come back. But we did see people that, I mean, you see them in different clothing in the trailer, so they get out. So Vecna, did they kill Vecna, and is there something else?
See, I keep wondering if Vecna is not the big bad. Like if that ball of energy, there's some other entity. Like that would be interesting if you wrap it up. Because I could see that kind of like, you guys ever watch 24? They used to do that where like mid-season, Jack Bauer solves it. You're like, oh, we got the guy. And you're like, well, you got 12 episodes left. There's something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a bigger guy you got to go after. So I keep wondering if that's kind of the way they're going to go. Or if they do the time travel thing, it makes it interesting if they figure out if they do time travel, you go to Henry when he was a child and maybe try and prevent all this. You know what I mean? Like they're saying if they go time travel, which I agree with. I don't like time travel like that.
I don't want this being about Henry. I could care less about this guy, Henry Creel. I don't want this being about him. You know what I mean? I want this being about the core 4 or 11 or that whole group as a whole, like saving Hawkins. That's the tough thing, bro. It's like I could care less about Henry Creel. I love Vecna, right? The Mr. What's It thing is really cool, but the Henry Creel part that he's like, you know, supposedly like the first kid or this and that. We're gonna have to get all that storyline, I think, right? I mean, it's from the Broadway play. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if I care though. How are you going to make me care? And then if they nerf Vecna and there's a higher up, will that ruin your appreciation for him, Tones?
I know Jay has a lot to say, and I'm gonna let you get to it real quick. But a lot of people always ask me if Vecna is like the Almighty, and the answer is no. Dustin explains to us that the Mind Flayer in episode, I think it was episode 8 of season 4, he explains that Vecna is just a 5-star general to the Mind Flayer. The Mind Flayer is the Almighty. He is the powerful. He is controlling. I don't know if he's controlling Vecna, but he is more powerful than Vecna. Vecna, when he got into Dimension X, I believe it was in the last episode of season, or was it the last episode? Anyway, they show when 11 sends Henry Krill to Dimension X, we see him form the Mind Flayer. We see him form this big ass cloud. Yeah.
Okay.
And well, at least it looked like he formed. I don't know for sure if he formed him, but it looked like he formed the Mind Flayer to what it looks like now. But and then Dustin, when he's talking to Lucas and Erica, talking about why they're opening up portals, he explains to us that the Mind Flayer or Vecna is just a 5-star general. That's the word he uses for the Mind Flayer. So that we do know for sure. But Jay, I know you have a lot to say.
I have a few things to say. So here's my guess on the time travel aspect of it, because they covered this too, where they'll talk about the wormhole, right? And the wormhole connects dimensions. And what I'm thinking is that when Will was taken, Will created the Upside Down as sort of like this is my guess, as like a safe space for himself. That's why it's like it was built when he was taken. And what I think that they're doing in the Upside Down, or what Vecna is doing in the Upside Down, he's trying to build like the parameters for a wormhole to connect to Dimension X, so that he's using the Upside Down as a connective tissue piece to draw Dimension X and the real world together. So that's a little bit time travel-y in some regards. The other area where I think that they've definitely foreshadowed like time travel, because they talked specifically about Back to the Future, and we've already seen 1955, which is, I don't remember what year it was, but that's when Joyce is running the play, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be something to do with Holly, and in my opinion, there's going to be something to do with Holly and Max going back through his memories and messing with them somehow, some way to kind of mess with them in the future. The only thing I can say is that I don't want them to turn Vecna into like a tortured villain where he's like, oh, we have all the sympathy for him.
Yeah.
What I think might be kind of cool though is if Vecna has a different intent than the Mind Flayer. So it could be what could be the case is that Vecna is actually trying. So, like, for example, one of the things I think Vecna is trying to do by gathering 12 kids is replicate the lab, right? The Hawkins lab. Yep. And so if he's trying to replicate the Hawkins lab and get enough power to create the wormhole to then be able to connect the dimensions, then I think it could be interesting if he wants to manipulate the Mind Flayer, but the Mind Flayer wants to manipulate him, and they're actually at odds with one another. And that's one of the ways they can defeat both of them, is because they're paying attention to each other without paying attention to everybody else. But yeah, I mean, we don't know any of these things, right? Like, we do know that they see the gate, and the gate has a lot of activity in it. It's sort of like it's an orb of a gate, so it feels like the Mind Flayer is right on the other side of that thing, is what it feels like. Yeah. So obviously that's going to be unleashed at some point in time, it feels like. So, but man, yeah, I mean, one of the things in the trailer, because I did shout out to my buddy Michael Young. He has That Nerd Soul, is his channel, and Solar Gray. We talked about it the other day. We talked for an hour about this 2-minute trailer, and there are things that we see in the trailer that are pretty compelling. Like, why are the demo dogs attacking the hospital? Probably because Max is up to something in Vecna's mind, and he doesn't like that, and he's like, take her out.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, fucking love it.
Yeah. So like, I think some of that kind of stuff is super cool, and I can't wait to see how they pull it off. But yeah.
By the way, I'm not going to predict this. I'm not going to be shocked if Vecna ends up helping them defeat the Mind Flayer.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too, like in the long run. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised either, especially we know Vecna's history or I should say Henry Crill's history of these powers and what Papa did to suppressed him for so long, and like we know that he has different personalities as well. So I wonder how that plays an effect on who do we feel sorry for, which one do we as human beings connect with the most out of his personalities, and does that one finally come to life and take over Vecna or Henry Crill's body and become this good guy? Like, we don't know that yet, but I feel like that's a direction that they are definitely going to end up going for sure.
Well, it's not out of the realm of possibility when you have Will is connected to the hive mind. Well, the hive mind comes from not from Vecna. The hive mind does not come from Vecna. It comes from the Mind Flayer.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can assume that Vecna, when he went to Dimension X, got put into the hive mind, right? So to what extent does he now? I don't think this is the reason why I don't want to see him go full good guy, is because he made decisions too, right? Like Will's not going around being controlled by the Mind Flayer. Yes, he in season 2, there was some things where he was being very obnoxious, but that was not Will. We knew that was the Mind Flayer. I think Henry has made a lot of decisions that are like, it's hard to come back from that, dude. Like, you killed your whole family. Like, even if you were sort of mind controlled, like Will didn't kill his family. So I don't know.
Well, and that's why I think you could see him do that, and then Vecna or Henry dies.
Yes.
Like doing it. Because I'm wondering if Max is in his mind in that cave, she's gonna find something that's like call it triggering him. That's why the Demogorgons are going into the hospital, trying to stop that as like a defense mechanism. Yeah. And then, but it unlocks something that he's blocked out that maybe unlocks his humanity, I guess you could say. And then I kind of thought that whenever she was in there, I was like, I could see that. Like, she's digging around in there, finding stuff, and there's some mystery that maybe even Henry doesn't remember that he experienced or something.
Yep. Right. So like, did you guys see that other theory, which I kind of like? I mean, I'm actually banking for this one, but Jay, I like yours. Yours is pretty fucking solid. But the one with the 3-headed dragon, with Nancy seeing a monster and then Will drawing the dragon, and then that's Dungeons and Dragons. You might as well end the series like that. Would that be the series finale? Like, Vecna changes everything, it ends, and then someone dies, Jared, whatever. Then we're waiting for New Year's, and then it's this, you have to kill the Mind Flayer. The physical form of the Mind Flayer would be the 3-headed dragon. But then how do you close Upside Down in Dimension X? Like, how do you close it? It's going to be 11 closing it from the inside, and then Will's going to have to close it from the outside. Maybe 11 stays inside. I don't know.
I will say, I like that a lot, but I hope that if they're gonna have another big villain that we haven't seen yet, or even if it's just a manifestation of the Mind Flayer in a different way, they better introduce that pretty quickly into Volume 2. Because what I don't want is all of a sudden we get to Volume 3 and it's like somehow Palpatine has returned. It's like, what? Why didn't you do something?
The final episode is going to be like 2 hours and something. It's almost like a whole movie. So you would have time potentially.
Episode 7 is speculated. They didn't really announce it, but it's speculated it'd be an hour and 57 minutes, and then the finale is going to be 2 hours and like 2 minutes.
That's crazy.
And what do you want on the big screen? Netflix was like, oh, let's put a 3-headed dragon on the big screen.
And
you know what I mean?
And I will be there. I will definitely be there.
Yeah.
But did you buy your tickets already, Tones, for Christmas?
Okay, nice. So I was on live. One of my supporters was like, "Hey, I just bought my tickets," and I was like, "No, it doesn't come out till tomorrow morning." And she was like, "No, I just bought." Like, she sent me like confirmation, everything. I was like, "Holy shit!" So I fucking ran to the website, and we were able to snag, because there's 6 of us going. We were able to snag 6 tickets back, like right next to each other, and it was like the last 8 tickets left or something like that.
Nice.
But they ended up adding more, which was cool. They ended up adding more times and more showings, because at first it was just the one on New Year's Eve, which was 5:00, and then not playing anymore for the rest of the day. And then New Year's Day, they were going to play only 5 showings. But then tickets went fucking crazy. Even like the previous day that it was supposed to even be released, they're like, no, we have to add more. Obviously, they want to see it.
This is like the closest to like Game of Thrones water cooler type show that we've seen.
Yes,
because it makes you wonder, like, there'll probably be another one, but it's like the way they've kind of done this release. Like, I've often argued, I see Netflix getting away from the whole binge stuff, like just all at once, for this very reason. Because even doing these sections like this, you do build up a ton of anticipation, and doing stuff like this, like, you can't do like you could do a live stream, but it's like if all these episodes are already out, it's like, well, they're out. There's no speculating. Whereas I feel like stuff like this, it helps the I guess you could say the fan base like get into that stuff and kind of builds a little bit more anticipation for things. So that part
and as people who talk about this stuff, I hate the binge stuff because then then it's kind of like if like Tones invites me on a video and we're gonna do one episode, but people have already binged the whole thing. It's like that's stupid. They don't want to listen to that. They want to listen to the whole thing. So then you got to binge the whole thing, and then you got to do so it doesn't make sense from like an advertising perspective because you want people talking about your show. So why not just release them every week and let the water cooler talk do what the water cooler talk does? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Well, the perfect example is this show. The first week it came out, it broke records. Second week it came out, it was so heavily watched the first week that week 2 went from like 60 million to 20 million. And now the Diddy fucking documentary is number one on Netflix. So
by the way, that thing is very interesting. If you haven't watched the Diddy one,
it is. I haven't seen it yet.
I watched it just because Jared.
Dude, the fact that 50 is behind this whole thing is the greatest troll job ever.
It almost makes look like 50 Cent's like infatuated with him though, bro. The way that they got some shit in there, I'm like, damn, 50 Cent really dove in.
50's had a problem with Diddy for like
forever,
20
right?
years. Because he said something he wanted to take 50 shopping, and he was like, shopping.
Right.
Yeah. And he's just, ever since then he's like, even Eminem has alluded to Diddy being responsible for like Tupac and Biggie's death, and they definitely even watched it. They don't go all the way and say it was Diddy, but at the very least, you get the situation like he set up a situation in which that was a likely outcome. I guess at the very least, you could say in defense of him, it's like, well, he put the chess pieces in place, knowing that this could be an outcome that could happen.
Absolutely. Real quick before we continue, Nessie and Dahlia, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you ladies becoming my first 2 members on YouTube. I appreciate it so freaking much. You ladies are amazing. But yeah, first 2, I think it's my first 2 subscribers on YouTube. But thank you, ladies. I appreciate you. Okay. Jay and I have gone through videos, or a couple videos, like I said, talking about what we thought about season 5 so far. We'll start with Jared. Give us your likes and dislikes about season 5, and I want to get some rebuttal questions within that as well.
I like so this far. I really like I said, I liked season 4 a lot. I still think season 1 might be the best season of television ever. So they got pretty high bars to get to. So far, I don't think 5 is as good as 4. There's interesting parts about it. Like once you have like that wall, you got a whole bunch of very interesting things about the military having a base in the underground. I do think is interesting. There's some things that are kind of annoying, like Hopper continually running out of ammo, and he's a Vietnam vet. I'm like, how is gun gonna run out of ammo? Like every time it runs out, he seems shocked by it. I'm like, okay, but there's some little nitpick things here and there, but I do think there's a lot of foreshadowing. Like I need to go back and watch, because I feel like there's a ton of things they're foreshadowing that's going to end up happening. Like I was telling you before, I wasn't totally shocked about Will, because I kind of figured once the hive mind thing was there. I've kind of had this prediction for, I was watching this on a road trip to Missouri and back over Thanksgiving, got season 2 through 4 caught up. And I was like, I'm not going to be shocked if Will ends up having some sort of powers, because he's constantly tapped in to the whole thing. So that wasn't a huge shock. But the reveal, I mean, they definitely set that up to where it was like everyone's going to die. And you're like, okay, something's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff, like Steve and Dustin fighting, is kind of annoying, like constantly bickering. I'm just like, okay. And then Robin continually just talking like nonstop forever. I'm just like, oh, okay. But I think Lucas, that actor, he's gotten so much better since season 1. And I really like his character. And I think the Max thing is very, very interesting. I hope they pick it up really quickly, because it was really slow to start on season 5. But it definitely picked up toward the end there. So I'm also, I feel like there's going to be something with that whole thing that they use against Eleven to kind of suppress her powers. That is, I'm wondering if the military has figured out something about Vecna, maybe, that they could use him on. But so far, I would say I like this as like I like 1 and 4. This would probably be like I didn't really care for season 2 and 3 that much, so I would say this is probably like as where it sits now, like in 3rd place for me. Without seeing the rest of it, but obviously they have a season. But it's interesting. I definitely feel like it's one of those things that's setting up something. So there's things that you feel like should have been there, but I also thought it was kind of silly. They had metal plates set up over the crack. Just like
yeah,
really gonna work.
yeah.
These things are insane that come out of this thing. That's not going to work. But
It does seem like something the government would do, though.
it is
Right.
It is. It'd be like
Let's hide it,
down
yeah.
here, but yeah. And like, why did it take them so long to have the flamethrower? Like, they know this stuff is like susceptible to flames.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not have like all these guys have flamethrowers?
Yeah.
Like, but
Right.
it's nitpicky stuff. But overall, it is interesting. And
No, they all need wine bottles, dude. Wine bottles can
Yeah, I know,
take
that's
a
all you need.
Demogorgon out.
Okay, that was annoying. Holly. Now, the only thing I'm wondering, so one of the Demogorgons backs off of Joyce and doesn't go full throttle against Mike's parents. I feel like there's something maybe to that, because if not, that seems like a very weird thing to do with these things that just taking out soldiers, like a whole platoon, and yet a mom with a wine bottle can kind of fend it off, and the other people are kind of hurt.
Well,
but they're
so the Demogorgon was just trying to kidnap the kid Holly. They
Right.
weren't directed to kill. I think at the army thing, they were directed to do that. Right.
So Jared, this kind of brings up the question you had asked before we started was did Will control the Demogorgon not to attack his mom or attack
Right.
Joyce? So to me, it all connects. Now the question before I answer it, or before I give my opinion, is why did the Demogorgon back off of Joyce and not attack her once, but was able to go to the Wheeler house, take Holly, swipes Ted, swipes Karen, but Will wasn't able to control them, wasn't able to control the Demogorgon then. Why? So the question I'm asking is, how come he didn't control that, but he controlled the thing with his mom? So
I'm not saying my thinking on at that point, he may not, like, it's one of those things where he's not understanding he could control, if this is what it is. It could it could be that Will was subconsciously, like, because he obviously is like, oh no, my mom's in danger.
Yeah.
And so it could have been like somehow like, okay, don't attack her. Or it could be because Will was there and it didn't want to go full throttle because Will is now, obviously Vecna has plans for him. So because he finally figured it all out the end there and tapped into it and was able to do all that stuff. It kind of reminds me of like if maybe like he thought he was just like watching it, but he actually did have some sort of control over that without knowing it at that point, is my only thinking maybe.
So they talked about proximity, because they've talked about how close he is to whatever it is too, right?
Yeah.
And he was right there with Joyce, whereas he wasn't
Right.
anywhere near it where the Wheeler house was. But the problem with that is when he decided to use his powers at the end of episode 4, a bunch of those people weren't near. I mean, Robin wasn't near him.
Robin was
right? Like,
far away.
She was far away. So that does need to be worked out a little in terms of like
To
what can he
me,
do,
that
what can he not
scene,
do?
to me, that scene was only shown to show that in a couple scenes, Will's going to be able to, or in another episode, Will's going to be able to control him. That's what it felt like. Like it was showing that Will can see through their eyes, and he can basically be able to control through the mind, the hive mind. So that's what it was. I feel like it was only established for that reason. Like I don't think Joyce is going to die or anything, you know.
So let me break something down for you, gentlemen, real quick, because I want you guys' opinion on this. And this is where my head's at when it comes to Will being able to control, and not able to control. So I think the whole Will episode 4, at the end of the episode, I think if he was able to control any of the Demogorgons before that, it takes away from what we saw in that episode, or in that scene, because it looked like he was able to break through with him remembering all the trauma or all the stuff that he's been through, and then we see him come to it, and he's able to control them. Now we know that within this first volume, we know that Henry Creel went to school with Joyce, went to school with Ted Wheeler, went to school with Karen, Mike Hopper, or Jim Hopper, and most of the adults in the show. Now, is this Vecna saying that don't fuck with Joyce, don't hit Joyce? Is like, is he telling the Demogorgons not to touch Joyce because she was once a friend with Henry Krill? Was
But
Karen
with the Wheelers? The Wheelers.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
did
did Ted Wheeler and Karen Wheeler just bully him during that play that they were in? So he was like, "Fuck you guys," like, you know. Wait, who's
like why is Will? Why was Will the first person to get taken though? You know what I mean? Like why? So does
Well, hold
Henry
on.
Krill have a grudge on?
Are you guys
him?
typing? Are you guys typing in here real quick?
I put a comment in, but it was showing my comment than you. I don't know why it was showing both.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I
This
was
is
like,
both of you guys.
did someone fucking hack me?
Yeah.
Oh
Okay, go
no,
ahead.
sorry. I
No,
noticed when I put it in, it also put you, and I was like, I didn't know why Tones was saying it too. Yeah.
It scared the fuck out of me. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Tommy.
Tones, I was wondering what was going on. Tones looked like you would the upside down for a second.
Yeah, I was like,
You're right. Good episode for that. No, I don't even remember what I was saying, but I'm just saying, like, how are they gonna connect this Broadway play to this thing? I mean,
well,
it's
see,
gonna be Henry Krill, and like Steve's dad was in that too, right? So
Yeah.
is Steve gonna die then? Because Steve's dad's part of this thing too. Like, what is it?
That's where I feel like we're going to see some kind of humanity when it comes to Henry Krill, because I feel like there's a lot of things that we seen Henry pull back from and not fully go ape shit on some of these characters because he has that humanity still in him. I feel like that's what we're going to see within at least maybe this volume, if not the finale, in where that humanity is going to come from. Is the trauma that he experienced in the cave something that they can manipulate, maybe, with that Max can manipulate and see him have a different outcome or a different path. Like, I feel like we're going to see a lot, and I hope that's what we see is some kind of like, what the hell was that play for? Why does it matter? Why is it going to control what Henry Krill or Vecna does? So I feel like we have a lot to see.
Maybe the play is only for that side story of Mr. What's-It and then Henry Krill in his mind. Maybe that's the only way, like you said, maybe that's how Max gets him out of it. But like in the trailer, I'm going to shift a little bit. We see the radio station kind of pulsating, right? The electric stuff. And then we see somebody falling from one to the next. And then I'm not sure if you guys heard the fake spoiler rumors. Am I allowed to say that on here? Or what? Should I just say it? Have you heard any of them, Tones? Like,
no.
The one where they have to make a hole through that wall, even though it keeps closing up, and then they electric shock it, and that's why that episode is called Shock Jock, because Steve's the jock, and they're using the radio station inside of Upside Down to shock the wall to open it before it closes. Then 11 and 8 will go through the hole. But in the trailer, it looks like it's the four guys, Jonathan, Dustin, and then two other guys standing in front of the Hawkins lab in Upside Down, right? Or am I tripping? So you never know. I mean, I just don't know what it's going to be. Like what? Right.
I do feel like the actual Hawkins lab is going to play something, like they're going to have to end up going back in there for something. Yeah. And like maybe and then the Upside Down, they also go in it. I do think there's going to be a lot of duality in that way, like in the Upside Down and the regular. And
then Eddie, can Eddie be the vampire god from Dungeons and Dragons, the game? Because the bats, the bats are what?
Yeah, bro, Tommy, I'm right with you, bro. I wanted that to happen so fucking bad. I think if Eddie came back as a vampire and he's the one who took out, I think Eddie could have just stood there and did nothing, and I still would have loved it just because I love this character. But I would have loved that storyline. But I think at this point, if we didn't see him within the first 4 episodes, it would just be kind of dumb because they would need to.
Well, no, in the Camazotz one, he would only be in the mind, only trying to help them get out. That would be the only time you see him.
Oh, okay.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Who knows, though?
Yeah, because if he physically came out and they were able to touch, I think that would be dumb if they.
But he's like in that area, so he's not fully dead, and he's helping Holly and what's her name get out. I don't know. I mean, who knows? So,
do you think that Max will end up having powers?
No. I think because we never seen I think the whole thing with Will being hooked up to whatever that was in the first 5 minutes of the first episode when he was taken in the season 1.
Yeah,
I think
right.
that was very important of why he now has powers, because
Right.
he has the whatever the fuck is in him now. What was that? What was the animal's name that they named him after he
Dart.
threw him up? Yeah, like I feel like that needed to be in him for, and we didn't see that with Max. But I could be wrong. They haven't really explained how Will has his powers or able to tap into the hive mind. So I could be completely wrong, but I feel like that would be that. Like, why would they show us that if it wasn't some kind of like, I guess, ritual of getting the powers? You know.
So is the
Right,
assumption too, like Holly would have powers like the kids that are
Correct.
taken at this point? They would too. But or was it at certain, because I'm wondering if Will's is you get to a certain age. Or like what was it? Obviously, you know, they implied like he was finally like himself, and then that's when his powers were realized. But I'm wondering if it's also you get to a certain age and these things kind of manifest. I am kind of curious about
Ooh,
that.
I feel like Holly's like maybe the last key then for Vecna for Jay's theory. Maybe he needs that last one to make the wormhole complete, and maybe it's her.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing with I think the when it came to the cheerleader, when it came to what was the dude's name that was with Nancy J? Fred. When it came to Max, them three were the chosen ones to get, you know, taken by Vecna, and they snapped, you know. But I think they were vulnerable because if you guys remember, them three went to the therapist at the school.
Right.
They had everyone's name written down, and them three were. So I think there had to been some kind of, you know, depression or vulnerability of why those three were taken, because if you remember, they gave flashbacks of what happened and what scarred them. So I'm assuming that happened to them three because of their trauma. But then to get the powers, they needed kids at a certain age, like they did with Will when he was young, and then the 12 kids that were taken, like Holly's age. So I feel like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a way of like telling us why there's a difference between, you know, Max and her age and the kids that we see in their age.
I like
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
So then now that you're saying that, so when Max at the end of 4, when she's in that area and then all the people are kind of like dead in the wall, that's not the same as Vecna having the feeding the kids with the tube, right?
Right. It can't be because otherwise you'd have Barb be alive and just like Will. Something had to happen with Will that was different, and something's happening to happen with these 12 kids that's different somehow. It's just a matter of what it is. I'm not sure.
By the way, I told this to Jay. I do feel like season 1, like what they have the storyline now, they created this after season 1 because some things don't make sense. Like, why did they take Barb then and just kill her? Like, there's certain characters where certain things happen like early on, and now all these things have a purpose. But you're just like, well, okay, well, what? And I know Barb was like a fan favorite, but it's like there was just some weird stuff that I do feel like this storyline popped up after probably season 3.
Yeah,
it feels like they had a revamp about season 4 because it obviously came back pretty strong, and then that's where they kind of picked up this recent storyline because some of the early stuff just doesn't quite mesh, I guess, the same way.
Yeah, it's true. Well, although you could argue, I think the only argument that they could use, which I think is probably not a good one, but they could say Henry wanted Will, and then he was going to use Will the way that he was going to use Billy, right? Where he's just gathering people to him, but he didn't realize 11 was going to combat him. And so he's not dictating what the Demogorgons are doing, and they're just acting like animals and eating people because they eat the deer too, right? So they established that these things, given nothing else, they would just eat people. So they could make that argument, but I agree with you. It does feel like it was like, oh, wait a minute. I think as soon as you introduce Vecna, basically, and you say, okay, Vecna's been doing these things the whole time, when you didn't write it that way, you have to. You're going to have some issues there. Yeah.
Not uncommon in TV shows, stuff like that happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and I think going into, I mean, I don't know if you guys know this. I think Jay and I talked about this, but it was Stranger Things was supposed to be called something else, and they had Montauk,
Yeah.
and they were supposed to name it, or they were supposed to be completely different from D&D. Like, it wasn't even had nothing to do with D&D.
The Montauk stuff's interesting too. If you know
That
anything about
is.
that, it's very
Yeah, it is.
interesting. Yeah.
It's weird.
So
yeah.
so I feel like in season 1 they put out, I guess, what they can, and and then they kind of maybe had like 1 or 2 storylines where like, no, oops, we don't kind of need this anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
could be another thing of what they did, because season 1 was, even though it was amazing, I feel like if we don't see that those questions wrap up in this season, most of that's going to be for nothing, but I feel like they'll do a good job in telling us what some of those answers are, because Duffer Brothers haven't fucked up yet. Like, there's been a lot of storyline that they've answered, and that a lot of TV shows would just be like, nah, we don't need to answer that, it's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like Lost.
That's what I was telling him, because he hasn't seen it. I was like, oh,
No.
like I was trying to tell him like Lost didn't answer enough questions, and then
Oh.
everyone's pissed. So you had to answer a certain amount of questions. You don't have to answer every single one. But
Right. My wife and I rewatched Lost because I thought Lost was cool. I think Desmond is one of the best characters of any show. Thought he was super interesting. But the way they wrapped it up, I hated that. I feel like it was such a cop out. It's just like, it's kind of whatever you guys want it to be. I'm like, come on. Just make a determination here. But yeah. I wonder if they're going to do anything for the fan service of Barb, because I still see that out there all the time.
I think we'll see her body in season 5 in the Upside Down, but as far as her character, I feel like she was just like they're taking anyone that they can right now.
I don't think they anticipated people being like loving Barb, because she wasn't in the show much at all, and then it became this whole fan thing.
They had like, they made a good job, or they did a good job of making every character that they threw in with dialogue important. Like Mist, even the cheerleader, she was there for less than a fucking episode, and people were asking about her the whole season, even though they talked about her because of what happened to her. But
Chrissy, right?
yeah, Chrissy, like,
So I remember her name, bro.
yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, at the Halloween Horror Nights house, that's the start of the house, is him saying, Chrissy, no. So like, I mean, it's big, bro. Yeah.
So like they do a good enough job to where these characters who barely have any dialogue make them important, and they did that with Eddie. I think Eddie was one of the best side characters, I guess you can say, of all time. You know what I'm saying? He had one of the most iconic scenes that we've ever seen in television, and he was playing a guitar. Like, that's
have
how
you guys seen the clip of him playing guitar with Metallica?
Yes, dude.
Bro, that's so sick.
I just saw it like a couple days ago too.
Yeah, it's so sick.
By the way, I think that is the best Metallica song ever. So when I was driving on the road, like, I was paying attention, but it was playing, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like that was a cool scene. I know it was late to the game, but man, it was that was awesome.
So we're gonna answer questions, gentlemen. We'll start with Dahlia here. Is the Upside Down what what Will made when he was taken? So this is something I came up, or I've said it before. I should say I came up with it, but I think it was a defense mechanism for Will. I think because I don't think he made the Upside Down. I just think he made what the Upside Down looks like as we see it now. Because it wouldn't be stuck on the day that he went missing. It would be stuck on the day that it was created. Also, there's details like Nancy's diary that there could be a chance that Will knew that her diary was in there. No one else would have known that, because Will went over to Mike's house and could potentially went in her room. So, you know what I'm saying? So I think there's things out there that we see, because I don't think Vecna or Henry Creel would have known particulars like that, like her diary there. So, but yeah, we don't know what the Upside Down is and how it was created in the first place. So we could be completely wrong, but that's my theory, at least.
I'm wondering if they're gonna, like, all the kids that have these psychic abilities or these powers. I'm wondering if, because you got the whole Montauk thing, which was about tapping. If you know about that whole conspiracy, it was like tapping into these psychic abilities. It's been theorized before, but I'm wondering if they're going to play this up to where these abilities actually stem from the big, like the mind flayer or whatever this big bad is, that it's tapping into this other realm, and that nobody created the Upside Down, but when 11 pushed Henry into it, kind of like not knowing what she was doing, that's what sort of set off the whole chain of events. So like I don't think she created it, but I think it was just a thing that was there. Because when you get into that whole thing, it like when you really read about all that weird CIA stuff, it's very interesting about tapping into other dimensions and entities and stuff like that. I'm kind of wondering if that's maybe where they go of the basis for like the Upside Down and maybe the powers.
It's pretty
Wow.
good. Do you think 11
Wow.
picked Will in the beginning, like of the whole thing? Have you guys seen that theory too?
I've heard that, but no.
It's too
No.
much, right?
I mean there's a lot of evidence that kind of points to it, but it just doesn't make sense because okay, we don't know how she technically knew who Will was, unless I'm
Right.
mistaken. I don't remember there was a scene where she's like, "Oh, I know," like when she points out Will in that picture in front
Yeah.
of Mike. How did she know
Right.
that was Will? Like that doesn't really I don't think that was been answered yet. But
So it still could be a chance.
yeah, there's still potentially like there's a lot of evidence pointing to that she was the one who opened the door, even though it doesn't make sense because he was taken in the
Yeah.
barn. But
Mhm.
she could have been the one who did the chain thing on the door because she's done it in multiple seasons after that. Like they made it a point for her to do that. But I just don't see why she would do it if she could just break the neck of a Demogorgon like it's fucking nothing.
Right.
So
Right.
I just didn't understand
Good
that
point.
part if it was her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, Duffer Brothers are fucking insane that way, so you never know.
Yeah.
All right, this one's from Spiral. It's cool that Stranger Things has introduced older films like The Goonies, E.T., Stand By Me, and many more to a newer generation of audience. I think that's what made this show as good as it did because it showed homage to those movies, to those projects.
Yeah.
And
It's almost like a period piece, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Even
dude.
like you like to pay attention to every little detail in there, even like they got the glass Gatorade bottles, man. I mean, they're obviously, it just hits home. I don't know.
Dude, I love the synth wave music in there. I love in those scenes the way they do that. Because I know that's like an updated version of the 80s synth in a way, but I dig it.
Yeah.
Me too.
What does Robin say in season 4 when the red light is on the she makes a Back to the Future reference.
Yeah. Flux capacitor.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, that means there's something wrong with the
capacitor,
flux
yeah.
capacitor.
Yeah, that whole episode did a ton. That's why I was saying they're like alluding to time travel in some way because they just kept on going on with like Back to the Future stuff through that whole episode. I think was it episode 2
Yeah.
where they did that. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I was leading into episode 3. But yeah, I love that they show homage to those movies. And the Duffer Brothers never shied away from saying that they've took inspiration from these projects. A lot of Game of Thrones have been in here. The whole when Will has his eyes closed like that and controlling the Demogorgons, Brandon Stark, who is the kid in the wheelchair, he does the same things with the wolf and the fucking crows. Like he has the same eyes, same everything.
yeah.
So the wall in Game of Thrones, it looks just like the wall that we see in the fucking Upside Down, but not ice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a lot of inspiration that the Duffer Brothers take, and they don't shy away from saying, yeah, we took inspiration from that. And that's what I love about them and how they create, because they're not shy of saying that that's what they did.
And then real quick, what you said with that wall, it just kind of just hit me. Man, Universal Studios has done HHN houses for every season of Stranger Things. They combined 2 and 3, I think, or 1 and 2 or something like that. But man, imagine if we get 5 and then one of the rooms has the wall in it. Then you go to the next one. It's like, Will killing the Demogorgons. I don't know. I mean, this could be like a crazy setup for a good HHN house because obviously we're doing the New Year's thing. And then after that, is what's going to be the cartoon, animated series. So realistically, we need something to keep us going. The HHN house would be good because they're going to drop that Nancy Wheeler book too, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah.
So real quick before we answer this question, what we do know about what the spin-offs that we're getting is the animated one, which is going to be between seasons, I think 2 and 3 or 1 and 2. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's going to be in between those 2 seasons. Also, we are getting another spin-off that the Duffer Brothers have already came out and said that they are going to do. It is going to be in the same timeline as what we see in Stranger Things. It's going to be called something different storyline, but they said it will lead back to I believe who these characters are. Of course, we're not getting the same actors, or we're not going to have any of the same characters in the show in that spinoff, but that eventually is going to be made. Now, I don't know if that is going to be for Netflix or Paramount. Duffer Brothers have signed a contract with Paramount on potential projects moving forward. So I'm not sure how that goes along with the Netflix stuff. I can't tell you that, but that's what we do know. You know, what I'm
That'd be a
saying?
good get for Paramount if they could get that.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah. Jay, who's your favorite character, brother?
This is a tough one, dude.
Favorite show of all time, but
Yeah,
I'll
my
think
favorite
about
show
it
of all
after
time.
Let's do 3. Let's do 3.
top 3.
this. Okay, we can do that.
Make it easier. Yeah.
I think for me, I would have to go with Hopper.
Yeah.
I love Hopper. I think I would go with Lucas, and I
Pretty
think
good.
I would round it out with Max. Now, the hard part about this is that it hasn't finished. The whole
Yes.
series hasn't finished yet. So, because like for example, I loved Lucas in season 1 because Lucas was like, okay, I know everyone thought Lucas was a jerk. I thought
No,
Lucas was like the
logic.
practical one.
Yeah,
Dude. Like,
he was-
yeah, man, like you guys are being so weird about the fact that all this weird stuff is happening and what's going on. So I really liked Lucas, and then I really liked how he kind of joined in with the jocks, but then he came back to his friends. I thought that was a cool story arc for him. I thought Max was a cool character coming from California and being sort of in an outcast, you know, like the way that she was an outcast, but she also was winning all the arcade games, and she was skateboarding and everything. And by the way, Sadie Sink had to learn to skateboard for that role.
Yes, I saw that.
I heard that.
Interesting.
And then Hopper's always been. I if they kill Hopper, I will be pretty disappointed just because they keep teasing it and not doing it. So it's kind of like you can't do it now because you teased it too many times.
He's
But I
also
think
the most obvious because of all his trauma too.
Yeah, exactly. And he's already
But dude,
had his
Hopper
daughter.
in
He's already lost his
season
daughter.
1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the daughter. That's what's sad. But man, Hopper in season 1 always got me because bro, he was just kicking ass, punching people's lights out, would never get hurt, bro. Yeah, and then they kind of nerfed him, but it was like that's why we liked him, is because he would just shut shit down real quick.
Well, and he's obviously like we talked about paying homage to older stuff. Like he's obviously paying homage to an amalgamation of 80s icons, right? He's
Right.
for sure Han Solo. He's for sure Indiana Jones. He's for sure Tom
Chuck
Selleck.
Norris, damn near.
Yeah, Chuck Norris.
Little Rambo
definitely
in
Magnum PI, Rambo. And so it's kind of hard not to love that when you grew up with those characters, you know.
Right.
Absolutely. What about you, Tommy? Who's your top 3?
Man,
Did you
top
give your
3,
third one,
so-
Jay? Did
I
you give your
didn't
third
think
one,
Yeah,
Jay?
it was
Max.
Max Hopper
Max,
and
Lucas.
Oh, okay.
you know what though? Shit. I love Steve Harrington too, man. I'll give you
That's
4.
where I was
I'll
going
give you
next.
4.
Yeah.
So obviously we like Steve, right? But I'm a big Walking Dead fan. I was growing up. I went to all the conventions and stuff. So I'm like a weapons guy. I like the character with the iconic weapons, and they always give Steve the crazy ass weapon. Like it's not the bat with the nails. This time, what was he getting? The chainsaw or something? I mean, come on.
Mhm.
Like that's pretty iconic. So he's definitely up there. I'll probably say Hopper for sure, and then I mean 11. That's like I guess drew me in because you're like, oh, this kid has powers.
Yeah.
I would go Hopper, Steve. I do like 11. 11 is it's a very interesting character the way it's like she's been developed. Although I really enjoy from Eddie season 4. He is way
Right.
up there.
Right.
Even though in one season, but I would say the ones that are still around, Hopper, Steve, and honestly, Max has grown on me a lot. At first, she was kind of annoying, and Lucas. So I found Lucas really annoying the first season. So I feel like people are kind of polar on that, like either they like him or they hate him. But as it's gone on, I actually like Lucas a lot because I actually Dustin's the inverse. I like Dustin, and now I find Dustin very annoying, like the entire
Yeah.
time. So it's
Me
like
too.
they've kind of swapped. Mike's kind of like he's fine, he's in there. But like this season, I would say it's like Lucas, Hopper, and Steve for sure. But I would throw in 11 in there too.
Yeah, I mean 11 kind of hard not to throw her in there, or at least put her at 4.
Yeah.
But I'm saying with you guys, I like Hopper, man. He is one of a kind. Like his character will never be topped when it comes. Like no one could play Hopper now. Like if we were to somehow
Yeah.
do another season and we were to replace it, no one could play Hopper as good as he did.
I also
then we
like
got-
that he's like a chain smoking hero. I just like that.
Yeah.
Days where just like just darts and just like give me a dart, I'm gonna go get a guy, and you're like, I like that. You know what I mean? We need more of that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, we do.
It's kind of I'm on the opposite of you, Jared, because I love Dustin's character, and I think everything he's going through right now, especially in the first 4 episodes, are valid. You know,
True. True. You're not wrong about that. No.
Yeah. And I think if they put him to where he was still this happy guy where, you know, he was doing things normally, I think that would kind of impact his character negatively because of what we saw in the ending of season at the end of season 4, where, you know, he's talking to the uncle of Eddie, and I think he will eventually go back to the way he was, but I think we're just not used to seeing him in that element of being fucking just this irritating, annoying kid when he was the smartest one out of the group, you know?
I think what it for me was, it was Steve's comment about, and it kind of was like that. You guys ever watch How I Met Your Mother? It's like the glass shattering when you notice somebody that's doing something annoying.
Yeah.
Is Dustin never admits he's wrong.
Yes.
Ever. And I've
True.
known so many dudes like that. And I'm like, dear God, like there was a guy I used to work with. Like, you could have caught this guy on camera and he'd be like, I didn't do that. It wasn't me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So like, it just, I don't know. Like, I get, you're right though. Like he has had major trauma and like he's dealing with a whole bunch of dark stuff. And so it's understandable, but it's just funny. Just watching it naturally. It's like Lucas and him have kind of shifted to me.
Yes.
And I feel like Lucas, the kid playing Lucas, you can kind of tell the ones that have taken acting more serious, I think.
Mhm.
And I feel like he has definitely like grown as an actor. And I watched them so quickly from season 1 to season 4 and going through 5 that I kind of, by the way, they all go from like kids to like 23-year-olds and like,
Yeah, no.
like what the heck? But yeah, you can kind of see there. And like Will, the actor there, I don't feel like he's quite, you know, like I don't think acting is his thing personally. I don't know. I just
really,
he hasn't compelled me. He's fine, but I just feel like there's moments with his character that I think if there was someone that's a little bit of better acting chops, could be played a little bit more up about what he's gone through. Just personal preference on that, but that's just
no. I mean, I there. Don't get me wrong. He has a lot of cheesy parts where it's just like you could tell it's not great, but I think in his act or the first couple seasons, the way he acted was the best out of everyone on the show. When he was being possessed was fucking phenomenal acting. And
I agree there. I was talking more 4 and 5. I feel like as he's gotten older, the acting just, yeah, I guess compared to like, I think like you said, Lucas and Dustin, those guys have like, and even Mike, you can kind of tell they took acting lessons or maybe taking it more serious, maybe, but that's just, you know. It's
so 4 was really unique because it blew up because that song, Running Up the Hill, and then Eddie with that other song. So, you know, but it was cool because they put the background or the B characters in the forefront, and then Mike and Will and everything kind of got dialed back a little bit. They still had a storyline, but you know, they pushed people in the front. You know what I love about Stranger Things? They get the 80s or 90s actors, man. We never talked about Linda Hamilton joining, but she was kicking ass as the villain, bro. I know I don't remember her name or anything, but she's going to have a, you know, I like her. She always has a place.
I think she's going to end up, I think the military is going to end up on their side.
That's
yeah,
they're going to have to.
I'm just.
By the way, I think the one thing that's a challenge when you start talking about the characters and and the actors performing those things, I think one of the things that's really challenging is that I think it's easier to buy some characters based on how their character arc is directing them to act when you see how old they've become.
Right.
So it's a challenge because I think I would tell you that like Noah Schnapp is having to play younger than anybody else because of his trauma holding him back and stuff like that. And I'm like, I think it's a little bit harder. It's not Noah's fault. It's just that Noah's whatever he is, 20, and like he's supposed to be playing a 14-year-old. You know what I mean? Like that right there is like, whereas part of Lucas's character arc is he had to grow up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
right.
he had to
Fair.
become a man. So it's like
Yeah.
it's easier to buy what he's doing. I think that's one of the challenges with like having actors age up
and-
that much.
I also thought that the first, besides maybe like I said, a couple scenes where Will or Noah Schnapp was a little cheesy, kind of the dialogue was a little bit cheesy on some. I thought he was the best actor in season 5 so far that we've seen. And when he's getting, of course, the last scene that we get, but I think the first episode he does well. The second episode he does pretty good, and then the third and fourth, or the third was there, like I said, those cheesy parts that came in, but the fourth is when he just nailed everything. And
He did, bro.
No, go ahead.
You know what's crazy? My fault, dude. Because you just were like, Will's kicking ass. So I'm like, damn, he did. And I was thinking of who didn't, bro. Why were we getting Hopper as the damn Red Guardian, bro? His Russian accent was coming through on one of the episodes. Did you notice that?
I did, dude. That's funny.
Okay,
because
I was like,
role-
oh shit.
For season 4, what role did the actor for Hopper? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Anyway, the Hopper, he leaned up quite a bit. He had to have another movie role he was playing.
It was.
Yeah,
I think it was a red. I think it was a
But
Red
Red
Guardian.
Guardian's all big though. I didn't think it would be for Red Guardian.
I think he was doing it for Stranger Things because I think he was supposed to be in a Russian prison and starving.
Okay, I was wondering if they wrote that in
Oh,
because
okay.
it's because sometimes they go, "Hey, I got this role where I got to lean down. We need to build
Yeah.
a." Because like when Chris Pratt lost all that
Right.
weight in
Right.
He
Ru-
shredded,
Parks and Rec,
yeah.
and he was like, "Oh yeah, I just quit drinking beer," and they're like, "Oh."
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he pretty much lost it for Stranger Things. Yeah, he lost 80 pounds for season 4.
Yeah, he definitely was leaned up.
Damn.
Mhm.
Which, by the way, I love season 4. That Russian
Me too.
storyline took way too long, in my opinion. It just dragged on the whole.
Well, you know what they did with season 4 that was a challenge is they wanted to add in enough Russian storyline that those characters had something to do. But did you notice the thing that frustrated me about it more specifically was that they kept failing. It was like
Yes.
they'd get ahead and then be like, nope, right back to 0. You're
Yeah.
captured again. And it was like, oh, this is just a circular loop to keep
Yep.
them like having some sort of activity.
I felt like they got
Mhm.
caught. You knew where they wanted them to all meet up together, but they had to figure out a timeline. And they're like, well, okay, we can't
Exactly.
keep just showing him in a prison. But
Yeah,
But I will
exactly.
I forgot on favorite characters. I totally forgot. I freaking love Murray.
Murray
He
is
kicks ass.
hilarious. I love.
It's
Murray.
almost an impossible question because it's hard to find a bad character.
Yes.
Like when I saw
Yeah.
the posters for Derek, I was like, this kid's gonna annoy the shit out of me. And then I love that kid, dude. The
Right,
kid's
right,
amazing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like the
So-
Goonies character, right?
Yeah,
Almost.
totally. And he's like
Yeah.
the nicest kid. You see him in interviews, and he's like, I had to say a lot of bad words. And he's like, that's so funny. Like, oh, my
That's gonna
mom let
quick
me say bad
redemption.
words.
Yeah, you hate even all of a sudden you're like, this kid's kind of like, okay, he's on board like
Yeah.
right away, and you're like, okay, okay.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
So John asks, when did they start doing the radio stuff and what made them want to do that? Now, I asked this question to myself because they were like selling merch and telling us about, the squawk and all this stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first time this season them introducing the radio station. And
Yeah,
I understand why they're doing
Yeah.
it now because of sending like subliminal messages over the radio, and it could be, but I feel like they just threw it in there and hoping it's stuck. In a way, it did, but it confused me in the way of like promoting it through merch and telling us that this place is important for them. But what's your guys' opinion on that?
I kind of think it's going to play a bigger role. I mean, I
Well,
think
we've seen the
whole-
waves, the shock
Yeah,
waves come out.
I think the whole idea from it is the town has been taken over, and probably because you saw all those people leaving at the end of 4, that like the radio jockeys all left town, and they're just like, well, somebody's got radio, I guess we'll do it. And I'm guessing that's kind of how that started, because I don't think there's any supervisors there. It's just Steve and Robin running the radio thing. So I do think it's going to end up being sort of a central focal, and then you've got the kids that have always used the walkie-talkie, so it's kind of a natural build-up, I suppose, off of that.
It also served a pretty interesting story purpose in that they had a year and a half, I think, something like that, in between season 4 and season 5 in terms of timing. And they had to have some way of like catching the audience up to what was going on and why it was going on.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a
Exposition,
big exposition dump no matter how you do it, right? Like, and so what they chose to do is have like her have a voiceover giving you all of the things you needed to know while
Right.
showing little like vignettes of like this is what life is like in Hawkins. So I can see that being part of it too, where it was like, look, we need somewhere for them to be that gives them some level of freedom and also lets us explain exactly what the parameters are that we're operating under.
Yeah.
So did you want that though, or did you want the Demogorgons running around at nighttime and everybody's like at war and crazy shit's happening? They have to go back and forth and stuff.
Well, I don't know about
That's
you
what I
guys, but I
wanted.
watched the whole series through again, right? And it is a
Yeah.
pretty brutal transition from seeing like all of the smoke rising up out of these 4 giant, like, I mean, that would have been like world news. You wouldn't have been able to cover that up. It's as crazy as Chernobyl, and we all knew Chernobyl was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that it is a jarring transition from season 4 to season 5, but at the same time, I mean, it's as smooth as they could probably have made it, given the constraints they were operating under, because they're just come out of the pandemic, and that's what kind of what season 4 was, and then they went right into the Hollywood SAG strike. So it was like it was just a brutal time for them to. So what else are you gonna do? I'm not even sure.
Well, also, if you've got Demogorgons run around up top, those things are kind of indestructible besides fire. So then you have like you just have a bunch of people dead.
Well, I thought that's what it was going to be
Right,
the whole time, like crazy.
I want to see Hopper be
apocalyptic.
like Mad Max with like a whole souped up truck running him over. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, there we go.
Smoking a dart and just throwing it out there and like, you know, I think
That'd be funny as hell.
I want a scene where there's gasoline and Hopper's just taking a big old drag, and just like, look you, just like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want that.
that'd be sick.
That's hilarious. OG55, I appreciate you, brother. Guys, everyone, make sure you guys go give OG55, Orange Girl 55, a follow. It's our brother right here. We've all been on Orange Girl 55. He's been on all of ours. He's a great guy. So make sure you guys.
we
go
wouldn't
show him
know
some
each
love.
other if it
I was
wasn't
gonna
for
say,
Orange Girl.
Jay,
Very
said earlier, we
100%.
know each other
Yeah.
voting for OG.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, he's
Agreed,
the link.
agreed.
He is the link, guys. He's the link for us. But make
He
sure you guys
is.
go show him some love. Lizzie, what's up, Lizzie? Welcome in. So I kind of want to get your guys' opinion on this because there's been a lot of speculation.
You and I talked about this a lot, Tones.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jared, I'll start with let's start with Tommy. Tommy, what do you think? Okay, Henry's sister. You know who we're talking about when it comes to Henry's sister?
Brush me up.
So remember in the scene where Henry Creel killed his mom and his sister? Apparently his sister was like alive still, or I guess whatever happened, because we don't remember what happened to his sister because he went into that trance. The father went into the trance, if I remember correctly. But people are saying that Karen was the sister and all that shit. But what do you think actually happened to her?
Damn.
Because I'm fucking
Karen.
like confused on what, because apparently all
So that
this
was in
shit
season
like-
4 or 5?
No, it was in
Okay,
season 4
4.
when Henry Creel was explaining how or what he did to his family to Nancy when Nancy was in that trance with Vecna. So she was like,
when he told her about the monster and everything.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
we don't know what happened to his sister and if she plays a big part.
You remember the mom
Oh,
was sitting
yeah.
at the table? The mom was sitting at the table, then she rises up into the sky, and then does the whole like crooked thing, because he's killing her.
Wow.
Well, the
Yeah.
sister did
Right.
that too. So the question is,
Right.
like, did she actually die, or is it like something else?
Because I don't think they finished like the snapping and all that shit with her, did they?
I don't know. I thought they
I
did.
just
But I have to go
assumed
back.
that- I just assumed that she died.
That's
But
what I
that would be
assumed.
interesting if she didn't, and she has some sort of role that maybe Henry doesn't even know about. That would be an interesting little take.
But where would
My-
they bring her in at? Like the Camazotz episode?
Yeah, that's a great question. And but the one thing that Jay were talking, Jay and I were talking about storylines not being finished within the next 4
Yeah.
episodes. What the fuck are we doing with Victor Creel? Like, how is he gonna play? what other storyline are we gonna get with
So
him?
is he the main villain or the guy that got this all? Because Victor Creel's the dad, right? From
Well, yeah, but
1959? Or am I
he was just
tripping?
he was just the adopted father. Like he adopted
okay.
Henry Creel.
Right, right.
Wait, that's what it was, right? Am I tripping?
Wait, say it again. Say it
I don't
again.
think he was adopted.
Freddie-
Victor Creel.
Freddy Krueger, right?
Yeah, Victor Creel adopted, or Freddie Creel. Victor
The
Creel
dude that played
adopted
Freddy Krueger,
Henry,
right? Is
Yeah.
that who it was? Am I
Didn't
tripping?
he adopt? Didn't he adopt Henry? Or am I tripping?
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't heard that, but it's
I thought it was
possible.
just
If
I
it
thought
was on the stage play, they probably. But if they had to have said it in the stage play, if they're going to say it, I don't remember them saying it in the show, but
Yeah, I don't
thought
remember
they
the
said it
show
in
either.
the show. Well, anyway, adopted or not, I think we need to hear like another like what is going on with Victor Creel. Like he has to play another part going forward. Like he's still alive for a reason. What could that reason be? I feel like they need to tell us that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
although that could be a storyline I could see them not wrapping up.
I'd be
But-
okay. I'd be personally fine if they didn't touch that. Because
Really? Okay.
Well, because they established that he completely lost his mind over what happened to him, and he doesn't feel like he has much agency. So if you are going to bring him back into it and make him part of the equation, it's going to be the kind of the same way that they were telling stories to Will to distract him. They might do the same kind of situation to Henry, right? Like where it's like, hey, look, we're going to try and distract you by telling you stories of your past, and they might bring him back for that. But to be honest, like if they did that, you'd have to convince me that he got over a bunch of his trauma, because the guy is like, he's not doing well. He's not doing well. So if they just let that slide, I would be okay with that personally.
Yeah. X-Rod, shout out to X-Rod. I know we're talking Stranger Things, but fellas, Fallout season 2 is amazing so far. Have you guys seen Fallout,
bro,
by the way?
I forgot that it came out.
first
I
season,
haven't
yeah.
finished season 1 yet, but I've liked so far what I've seen of it though.
Yeah, episode
Season
1
one was
dropped.
dope. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
season 1 a lot.
Episode 1
Yeah,
just
New
dropped
Vegas
today.
too. I gotta
Or-
watch that one for sure.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
fucking. I watched about 20 minutes before we hopped on, and it's fucking good so far.
Did it just come out today, or when did it come out?
Yeah, today's the first
Yeah,
episode. Yeah,
today's Fallout
okay.
I
Day.
think
Yeah.
it dropped at 6, I believe it was 6 o'clock.
Damn.
X-Rod's out here just he's watching us and it at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of, and I always get this, guys, and you guys know I cover a lot of Stranger Things. This is the one question I get asked all the time. Do you guys know what Byler is?
No.
It's
No.
it's
We
the-
talked. Did we talk about it last time?
Yeah, we did.
What is
I
it?
didn't realize it was
Will
called
Byers and somebody?
It's the shipping of Will and Mike.
So
it's
Wheeler and Byers.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
okay.
what's shipping?
Like pretty much making a couple.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they want Mike and Will.
Relationship. You ship them together, like
gotcha.
So
They
this
wanted
whole-
the same thing with Steve Rogers and Bucky too. I remember that. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, we all don't give a shit about like a gay relationship as far as like it being in the storyline. That's not when I'm trying to say
actually speaking of Fallout, it made me think of did you guys watch The Last of Us?
yes.
Yeah.
One of the best episodes of television is the love story
Exactly.
between
100%.
what's his name? Who's the guy that played
Oh, the dude from The Office?
yeah, or for
Yeah.
Parks and Rec. Yeah, that guy and the
Oh,
other
my
guy.
fault. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Nick
yeah, yeah.
Offerman.
Yes.
Nick Offerman and the other guy were
It won
it
an
was
award
like
for
an
it.
amazing episode of
Yeah.
television. Yeah.
Exactly.
I played the first game, and then the second game when they killed off Joel, I was like, screw this entire franchise, and I didn't watch the show because I'm just like, I know how this ends. You guys are gonna be pissed off, and everybody was, and I'm like, yeah, I've been there.
I can go into a rant about that damn show.
Oh, it's
Uh,
the whole storyline there is so ridiculous.
oh my god.
Yeah.
But so
And season 2 is not nearly as good as season 1.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
Season 2 was awful. Anyway,
Yeah. It's not
but
good.
yeah, when I say this, I'm not saying it like I don't want a gay relationship on TV. That's not
Right.
the case at all. But storytelling at 4 episodes left in a season, and then all of a sudden Mike is gay. It
Yeah.
just doesn't.
Will's going to be able to use some crazy powers for that.
Yes,
exactly.
exactly. But another thing is, it's like it takes away from the critical scene that we see in episode 4. Of him of Robin telling the story of a friend that she thought that she could eventually get with, and Steve Harrington's the one who took her from her, and she
Not only-
finally realized.
And not
that-
only that, Tones, which is totally right, but it also takes away from the reason 11 has done so well.
exactly.
The reason 11 has done so well is because Will has been there telling her you're the heart of this. You got to make this happen. Like this is all you. Like I love you because you're a superhero. I mean, if all of a sudden they're like, oh no, he loves Will, bro. 11's gonna go berserk.
Yeah, yeah.
New Vecna.
I actually think what they could set up is will sacrifice. There'll be some situation where I could see Will sacrificing to save Mike or 11. Basically, it's like so they
Right.
like realizing they love
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sacrificing. You know, like I think that's a story trope you could get into. I do not think they're gonna have Mike be gay. I
Yeah.
don't feel like because I'm at the point like in movies where, at least with this show, I don't care about the relationships that much. I don't care if Steve ends up with Nancy or Jonathan, like whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to see what goes on with this whole. Like I'm more interested in the Demogorgons and all this stuff, and that part I'm just like I don't know, but I don't think that they're gonna do that.
Exactly. And
If they did that,
yeah,
if you said, do you want to bet your entire life savings that will happen? I'd be like, yeah, dude, I'll take that
Yeah.
bet. Because like the
Yeah.
chance of it happening is like 1 in a million.
There's probably a bet on
Right.
Polymarket you could do that on if I were to go.
Probably is, yeah.
Polymark.
and another thing, we don't see him question his sexuality once.
No.
And with 4 episodes left, why would it matter when they're trying to defeat Vecna?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I personally, like I said, I get asked this question daily on the fucking daily. And it's hard to, because like, you know me, Jay, most, you know, the way I look at film and I notice things, and people who don't watch film like I do, they don't see the storyline of why those scenes were important that we got in the first 4 seasons or the first 4 episodes, and why that negates everything that this whole Byler thing is saying. But yeah,
I mean, this is the point of fan fiction, and it's not bad, right? The point of fan fiction is that you could take a character and relate more to it, right? Or you could take a character and go like, I kind of like this idea, like I'm gonna run with it. But like, so fan fiction has its place, and you should do that. If you want to ship them, go ship them. Like, I'm not telling you you're stupid for doing that. I'm just saying the story has not progressed in a way that makes any sense whatsoever.
There's not even like a longing look where Mike was like looking longer at Will. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing. It would just come completely out of left field.
If anything, it was the opposite, because when they went to go give a hug in I think it was season 3 or 4, when he went to California to see Eleven and Will, there was like an awkward ass hug when they went to go hug each other. So it's like the complete opposite of
and then Will was really bothered because Mike was really bothered when he gave him the gift. Like the whole thing has been awkward, because even if you go back far enough, Mike even says to Will, I think it's season 2, where he goes,
He doesn't like
it's
girls
not my
or
fault you don't like girls, right? Like,
Right.
so like the whole thing is like, well, you'd have to all of a sudden do a 180 with Mike that has not been foreshadowed in any way, shape, or form. Like it would break the internet. It would be the kind of thing. I'll give you another. If anybody has seen How I Met Your Mother, the season finale of How I Met Your Mother
so underwhelming,
comes so far out of left field that you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Hate that show for the way they ended it. Oh, I've never hated. I was legit so angry.
And it was such a good show. It was
such a good show. It's a
show.
Why did that ruin it? Why did that ruin it?
I can't even rewatch the show now.
No,
because I'm like, I know exactly where this goes, and like all the growth Barney gets wiped out in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you're just like, what? Like, okay, yeah.
So that's the level of bad that we would have if they suddenly just 180'd Mike. You know what I mean? Like it would just be like, what? You'd have a few people that were shipping this so hard that they're like, if it's not this, I'm gonna hate the show. They would love it. But everybody else who watches the show would be like, what is going on?
It would be kind of funny if Will was like, he tells Mike, and Mike's just like, no, it's all good, man. We're homies. And just like daps him up and be like, it's all good. We got to fight a Demogorgon. We ain't got time for this. And he's just like, okay.
I feel like at this point that needs to happen, because everyone keeps talking about this whole Will and Mike thing.
That's what got me about season 3 was they're doing all this stuff, and Joyce and Hopper are fighting about relationships. I'm like, you're fighting demons, and you guys are having a fight about a stand-up date. I'm like, hierarchy of needs here. You can deal with that later, maybe.
Fanny, shout out to Fanny, W supporter, man. She says, what's Eleven's real name? We know the adoptive name, Jane Hopper, right? Or did I miss something? No, Jane is her real name. That was her birth name. I don't remember if there was a last name. I know the mother
said, did they?
I don't remember either. But we seen the mother.
Her mom did have a last name. I just don't remember what it was.
Do you think the mom, considering she has powers, plays a role?
Well, this was the thing. So going back to what Tones and I talked about for like a half an hour is some people were saying that Jane or Eleven's mom is Henry Creel's sister that didn't die. That was another one of the things.
That's good.
That could be
There-
interesting.
There's so many different theories.
We actually had someone in the chat who was presenting a really good argument, by the way,
Yeah.
like arguing with us because we were like, I don't think so. And this person was like, I think so. And here's why. And they were like very thorough in what they were saying. So
Yeah, there's a potential that that could be it. Now, one thing before we continue, when Jay and I were talking about Henry's powers, I think one thing that if we don't find out is how Henry Cavill ended up getting his powers, it would be kind of detrimental to the show because we need that storyline. We need to know where these powers originated from. And if we don't figure that out, I think it would be a detriment to the show. 100%.
especially if they say something like, "Oh, you need to go watch the play." You're like, "What? Come on."
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Gotta
leave it to the
listen.
play, bro. Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
Another thing, like, oh yeah, all of us in the U.S. who haven't seen the fucking play, we have to go fly to London to go watch.
And by the
play.
way, I happen to know from watching the behind the scenes, I happen to know a little section of it. They do address that in the play, but like only I know that because I watched that documentary of behind the scenes, and they happen to say it. Like that's just not a good way of making content. So or making entertainment.
Yeah,
exactly. There's one more. Love in the 80s. Is there a decade y'all would rather have seen Stranger Things in? I thought this was a good question because it fits well with what we're seeing now in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? But I'll start with you, Tommy. What do you think? Do you think another decade would be cool with Stranger Things?
I don't know. I love period pieces. That's what I'm calling this. You know, I watch a lot of Power, and then they got like a 90s one. So, you know, to me, it's like I think 80s was it. I mean, I don't want to see hippies for the 70s for this one. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
I think it would make more.
Dude, what is that real, man? It's not real.
Morgan taking out hippies, I'd be like,
Yeah.
go get them.
I think it would make more sense in the 70s because you know why the people in Hawkins were clueless. Like that would make more sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good point.
The 90s would be cool. I mean, if you
Yeah.
could do some of the 80s and 90s would be very interesting.
Well, when 15 years down the line, when Duffer Brothers and their Paramount come back, and it's like another reboot, like a Stranger Things or Strange Things or something, then they're actually older. You know how like It and It Chapter 2, they hire different actors. This one could be the same actors. That'd be crazy.
That's true.
Yeah.
None of them can get messed up by Hollywood, though. They all have to stay level-minded, you know.
Exactly.
Chances
That's
right.
kind of what I actually say too. That's fucking
Right.
hilarious, bro. Oh, I want to get your guys' opinion on this. Sarah Connor living in the upside down. I want to get your guys' opinion on this because I don't know if it's like Will because like I said, the thing that was injected into him or just him being in the upside down. Do you think that could play a role on like people being in the upside down too long and another dimension too long could, I don't know, affect them in some kind of way, like negatively? What's your guys' opinion on that?
Well, this is a question I had because when Will was taken, when you're in there too long, remember Will he's almost like freezing to death.
Yeah.
And then now they're like just chilling in the upside down, and there's like it's no big deal. I that part I definitely was like, did something change with the upside down? But I also wonder, do they have like 7-Elevens in the upside down? Like if everything's the same, do they walk in and there's like a Demogorgon running into the 7-Eleven shop or something? I don't know. I feel like yeah.
I'm curious. Like, what do you guys think?
I mean,
I think it's cool that they're living in there, but that's not going to be like a main storyline anymore. I think because it's going to follow our main group, right? But like you said, I think she's going to end up helping. But living in there is crazy because like every season we've seen like little bits of this, and now we're just fully in it. And you know, they don't really tell us the logistics or physics of this stuff.
Yeah.
And they better. I'll tell you that they better.
Yeah, right.
Thoroughly. I mean, I know my answer to this, but they
Eddie,
ask
for
who's your
sure.
favorite character that died.
Oh, it's
Eddie
Eddie.
or Alexi. Alexi was fucking amazing too, man.
He was
don't
good.
forget
yeah.
about Bob too. Bob,
Man.
Oh yeah.
bro.
Bob kicked that.
The original
Although you
Goonie
could
coming back to the homage inspired
Yes.
by.
You could see
Crazy.
Bob dying the first time I saw him on screen. I was like,
Yeah.
like
He's going, bro.
By the way, that's my buddy Solar, and Solar and I did a hour-long trailer reaction to the Volume 2 trailer. So if you guys want more conversation about that, we literally go through it almost frame by frame and be like, "What? This is what's happening."
Nice.
So you can
That's
find that
sick.
over on that Nerd Souls channel. Check it out.
Absolutely. Go check him out,
nice.
guys. Hype Killer also, like in the trailer. Okay, we see that person falling right now. Jay, you kind of lean me over to where what the wall is surrounding the upside down or surrounding Hawkins.
And I could be totally wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, I love this theory though, and I'll tell you why. We see Mr. Clark teaching what a wormhole is to Erica's favorite class, and they purposely tell us what the wormhole, what it does, and how it connects. Now we see the shape of the wormhole in the show as he's teaching. It looks like the actual wormhole that could potentially be used and I guess connect, because we don't know how high up the wall goes. I don't think they showed us like a top. So I think that,
but they're not flying helicopters over it, which is
Exactly.
interesting.
Right.
They're flying helicopters
Right.
around, but they're not flying
That's
over
true.
it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it bears the question: could that be the wormhole, like the wormhole that is going to lead us from Dimension X to the Upside Down? And I love that theory, and I think that person falling that we see in the trailer is, once the wormhole is finally either connected or finished or whatever the case may be, that is the thing falling from dimension to dimension. Is you see that person falling. Now, like I said, could be 100% wrong. And there's a part in the trailer that we see. 11 and 8 kind of deflecting debris in the whatever the fucking wind that was happening. Could that be them inside the portal, like trying to get out? We don't know, but that bears the question: who dies falling off the radio tower? That's a good
Right.
question for sure.
That's my boy, actually. So shout out Hype Killer. Right on for joining
Hey,
in.
shout out to Hype Killer,
Nice.
man.
Do you think that the radio tower, like, okay, if that's the one, is that behind the wall in the Upside Down? Do they ever talk about where the radio tower is in comparison to the Upside Down?
No, they're thinking it's the Hawkins lab behind the wall.
That would make
But
sense.
we do see the radio pulsating those electromagnetic things. Is that scene going to connect to
Right.
the thing when they're falling? Right.
I keep
that's the
thinking they're going to
question.
figure something out with the radio. I feel like the radio has more of a play here than what they've done thus far with it. I could see that playing a role.
I agree.
Also, it is curious with 8 and her abilities that she can project things into people's minds, which makes me think there could be fake outs, like something really bad happening to somebody that actually didn't happen because of what she can project onto people.
Yeah.
That's
pretty good.
There's a theory that 8 was because, okay, let me back up a little bit. We all know 8's powers. It could pretty much, can have someone see something that's not there. Now, people are saying the reason why the base in the Upside Down wasn't touched by any Demogorgons was because 8 was showing or not showing that it was there. It was just
shielding it.
Yeah.
I kind that was whenever I knew it wasn't Vecna behind that. Like that was too obvious. I'm like, he couldn't be doing this stuff. But then when they showed it was her, I kind of had that thought too. I was like, I wonder if it was some sort of like protection against. But like, couldn't they make her do that against her will though? Is the other thing too. I was kind of curious about, or is there some other reason? But
yeah, that makes the most sense to me too, because the Demogorgons don't attack the base until 8 is pulled out of that chamber.
True.
Once 8 is pulled out of that chamber, it's like everybody in. Like these guys we're gonna mess these guys up. So I feel like that is a good theory.
And man, there's so many questions that we have that I hope we can answer. Nessie, she says, whose character will y'all be if you can choose and take that role?
Oh man,
the percent Hopper, man. I'm sucking people up, man. I'm shooting.
I mean, that's a fucking good one, man.
I'll be honest. I have a lot. I look at Steve. Similar thing. I was a jock in high school, all the sports stuff. So like after I was done with sports, I kind of had a whole like, who am I as a person type of thing. So I kind of relate a lot to Steve of trying to like, he was this one guy that he no longer kind of feels like he is, and he's trying to go on this, he's going down admitting like I was a jerk, like I was this type of guy. I'm not saying I was a jerk when I was in high school, but I kind of relate to that. Like I think his storyline's interesting, and what's funny is I don't think they planned on keeping Steve. I think they kept him on because he was everyone loved the character, because I kind of felt like he might have been one that would have died in like season like 2 or 3, but he's kind of like a fan favorite, so like okay, keep him around.
Fuck. So who would you choose, Jay?
Well, an on-screen character is a challenge for me. I would probably pick, if it's an on-screen character, I'd probably pick Lucas. Just because personality-wise, I feel like like the annoying guy that Jared does not like is me. I'm like the one that's like, bro, tell your mom this is nuts. There's a girl in your basement. That's insane, bro.
Hey,
like,
listen,
what are
when
you
there's
doing?
Demogorgons that attack, I need you to just get with it, man. I need you to just quit asking questions. We just go.
Yeah. But like, I think, as a person who has made films recently and wants to make more films, I mean, every time I hear the Duffer Brothers talk about this, I'm always like, dude, this is so cool. I want to do more of this. So for me, it'd be an off-screen character, which would be the Duffer Brothers. That'd be awesome.
That's it.
Fucking love it. Yeah, I would go Hop, man. Hop's a fucking badass who just tears shit up, and he has a presence of like, you're gonna do it my way because I know better, but he also is like, fuck it, I don't care what the repercussions are. So
Yeah.
I feel like I do that sometimes, but
Right, like he has
not that
heart.
that's a good thing. Yeah.
Right, he has heart, but he's willing to risk it, bro.
You know what,
to
though?
get it done for his loved ones. Yeah.
I'm also going to throw a shout out to Ted Wheeler, bro. Because I might just hit some golf balls in the backyard. I'm cool with that too.
That sucks.
Then he gets hit by a Demogorgon. I think with Hopper's interesting because like you get a little bit of that when he's like talking to the guy and he's like, "Oh no, you're no grunt." Like you kind of get a little bit of background of him, like having been in Vietnam, and he's got that side to him. Yeah. I kind of miss though the old like beat up Jeep though that he drove around.
Yeah, that was like iconic. Right?
I loved that thing. I was like, man, you need to keep that thing around.
Yeah.
John says still waiting on I Am Legend 2. I don't know about you guys, but I'm fucking excited for this movie, even though it's been God knows how
Me too.
long. But
Me too, man.
They're not bringing back Will Smith, are they?
Yeah, him and Michael B. Yeah.
Really?
So
See, but all I can think of now is Will Smith just the slap. That's all I can think about now.
Yeah.
Man, but that movie was iconic, bro. When he's shooting, he's like, Fred, damn it, Fred.
Yeah.
And he
It's
shoots
so
up
long
the
since I've seen that
mannequin.
This
Dude,
is one
it's
of those problems.
classic,
Okay, this is one of those problems that I have for I Am Legend 2. And I'm going to sound like that guy because this is like, if you've read the novella, it's not a full novel, it's a fairly short novella. If you've read that, you'd be like, it would be heresy to create a sequel to this. Like, even approaching that, like it is by far single-handedly the best line of any book that I've ever read. Right? Like the last line of that novella is perfect. And then it's like, why do it? Why mess with that? Why mess with perfection? So I hope that it's good, but I would go in skeptical because Will Smith, I haven't liked the Will Smith movie. He was awesome, and I haven't liked the Will Smith movie since what, Ali, maybe? I mean, like it's been a while, dude.
I thought you were gonna go the Wild Wild West.
I mean, I'm a Bad Boys fan. I like all the Bad Boys.
Bad Boys are good movie. I like Bad Boys movies.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about I Am Legend, it's kind of like you question, is it going to be good after so long? We all know that they're using now the alternative ending that they had for the movie,
Right.
and I believe it was I think it was with you, Jared, and OG. We're talking about I Am Robot, and then I went to fucking the ending of I Am Legend. I'm like a dumbass, but you question, is it going to be good after so long? Now they should have fucking ran with this movie because it was, in my opinion, this movie was great, but they should have continued to do it. Same thing with, have you ever seen the movie Hopper? I think it's called Hopper. It's with
Bruce Willis.
No, not Hopper. What the fuck is it? Jumper. It's called Jumper. With
Looper?
I never saw that.
Or Jumper?
No, Jumper.
Okay.
Jumper.
When he jumps from time to
Hayden
time.
Christensen, right?
Hayden Christensen, yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw
I thought it was like Gordon Levitt, dude. My bad.
No,
that's Looper. That is the one with Bruce Willis. That
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jared was talking about.
It's same thing with that. why the fuck did they not make a sequel to that? It ended like
Mhm.
I'm gonna, even though we're on separate teams, him and his mom are on separate sides. Like you better go now. I'm gonna hunt you down. Like it ended that way, and we haven't seen a sequel in fucking 30 years. I was like, what the hell? But
Right.
like I Am Legend gave off that same vibe of Jumper, and that movie was great too. But I'm excited to see. I'm a huge Michael B. Jordan fan. He's one of the great actors of my time, and just seeing a sequel to this would just be amazing in my opinion. There was another one. Oh, he says he's stuck between Bob and Eddie. I think like the characters that died, those are those. I didn't think of Bob until fucking Jay said something. I was like, yeah, he was a good character.
Bob went out the roughest though, I think, between those two.
Right.
Yeah.
What was his name again? Nerd Soul. That's who this is.
Solar Gray.
So okay. So, shout out to him, man. He's on all of the platforms of where this is at right now.
Heck yeah. Thank you,
Fucking
man.
love it. Appreciate you,
Thank
brother.
you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Hype Killer says, will Dustin's bully get handled by the end of the show? Similar. I fucking hope so. Fuck that guy.
Me too.
Oh,
Me
fuck
too,
that guy.
man.
I will say that
yeah.
was an annoying storyline in 4 was like the roving gang of basketball players that were like, I found the Russian storyline went on too long, and that whole thing, I understand why they had him in there, but I was just like,
We
Really?
need Eddie's name cleared though for sure by the end of the series, right?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be good.
So I heard this is totally off what this is, but I heard a theory of an ending, kind of like how not Endgame, No Way Home ended, where no one remembers what happened, and no one remembers L, or except for like Hopper and Mike, they'll remember him, but no one else remembers who L was or 8 or anything that has to do with Vecna and all that stuff. Like they were saying that episode 4 kind of get if they were to come up with an ending, it kind of gave off that like they might not be remembered because of the whole time travel thing now, and how all those storylines can get erased because of time travel, and only certain people are going to remember who they are. Like
I can
that's
see that.
crazy, bro. If that were to happen,
Yeah,
I hate
man,
those
That's
kinda
a crazy one.
I
I do too,
don't-
but
yeah.
I'd rather have that than it's just the D&D game that they're playing in the beginning.
that would suck
I
too.
don't,
Yeah.
I don't want that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with both of those endings is that, and this is why you can't end stories that way, is that the journey that the characters go on is why we watch stories. And so
Right.
if they go on a journey and they go through this giant character arc, and then you go, oh, just kidding,
back.
it never happened, you lose everything. It's like the human experience isn't even present here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope it doesn't do that.
absolutely.
Well said.
Shout out to Slime Square. Congratulations on starting your own podcast as well, brother. Go show love to Slime Square chat. He's part of the family as well, so go show him some love. But he says not season 5 connected, but I would be intrigued if the Duffer Brothers created a interconnected world across diverse and separate the supernatural storylines with characters from Stranger Things, a la Stephen King. What's your guys' opinion on this?
I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you, as big as this is, I'd be kind of surprised at this point if they didn't do some, like, that'd kind of be sort of
Yeah.
spin-offy. So I could see it.
I think
I can see that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an inherent danger in your sophomore thing, right? This is their freshman thing. Their freshman thing is like the top of the
Yeah.
top. I personally, if I were them, I would want to hand off all of the Stranger Things spin-off stuff to somebody else. I mean, I know it's part of their Paramount deal, so they're not going to do that because this is the moneymaker for them. But if I were them, I'd want to almost start over. I'd want to be like, look, we're doing
Like the
something
opposite
completely-
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, we're not even going to try and make something for the general public in this kind of. I'm going to make it for a niche, right? I'm going to niche down and do like a low budget movie somewhere. I would do one of those things because I think that the follow-up to this is going to have so much hype on it that it's going to be dangerous, man. Like as a creator, it would be hard.
They almost
Yeah.
have to top it or equal it.
Yeah. It's just
Well, and like
crazy.
a lot of creatives don't want to be niched down into like, if they do another thing in the exact same genre, then they become that genre. And like a lot of guys don't want that. So yeah, it'd be interesting if they did like some sort of like medieval period piece, which could
yeah,
be,
yeah.
go the way opposite direction.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't want to get nerfed like the Game of Thrones guys, though. They thought they were doing Star Wars. They thought they were getting this trailer park show. They got nothing, right?
Well, they did
Well,
get Three Body Problem.
yeah, I
And
was
Three
about to
Body
say.
Oh, they
Problem
got
was
that.
received
Okay,
pretty
okay.
well. Yeah.
I was
I'll
about to say,
take that. I'll
Thrones
take
better. They would have had more stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hence Star Wars. So whatever
Yeah.
whatever fucking project was they were coming up with would have happened at some point, but
Right.
I don't. That could be a whole nother fucking episode, boys.
Oh, yeah.
What the all I saw was this.
Well, only one way to find out.
Uh,
And then we know we get banned.
So
We're
it's
wondering
like,
what will get us banned. Okay, well, that'll
I
be
know, right? Last one. Who saves the day?
11.
Mm.
It has to be her or Will. It has to
It's
be.
gonna. I think it might be a combo.
You think so?
Because if they're gonna go that multi route where it's like you got people inside of Vecna's mind, you got I could see it where it's like a multi thing, but I do think there will be one that will ultimately like sacrifice themselves for the others. I feel like it's almost too obvious it would be Will, but it could be Will. I could see Hopper. Oh, yeah, you guys are right though. They've teased so much of Hopper doing that though. I feel like maybe that's not going to be him.
Yeah, I think if they did at this point, it would kind of be dumb, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You also don't have like there's an indication that actually one of the worst lines of the show was when Will says to Joyce, "You just care about your boyfriend." It's like, that's so stupid, dude.
Yeah.
I like that was such a dumb line. But like we haven't really seen like that relationship, I would say, hasn't really been fulfilled. Right? It's like,
Right.
yeah, I guess they're boyfriend, girlfriend, but we haven't really seen much of that, not in any kind of context. So when you take that away, like you can take a relationship that's really strong and then say one character has to sacrifice themselves for the other character, and like it's heartbreaking and bittersweet that this had to happen. But when you haven't actually seen it on screen and then you remove it from us, it makes it dumb. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not that cool.
I could actually see Steve doing something to sacrifice himself to like for maybe like Jonathan or Nancy are in trouble, and he sacrificed himself to like he's like his redemption arc is kind of maybe similar to Eddie's in some ways. You could kind of say,
or
See,
Jonathan reverse of that, right? Like,
yeah,
Jonathan realizes that he's not supposed to be with Nancy, so he does a heroic thing so that Steve can be with Nancy. Like you could see that happen.
yeah,
too.
one of the either one of those I could see.
See, I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like it's gonna be someone completely random, like Erica or Mr. Clark.
Ooh.
Is gonna come out of-
Dude, that'd
like-
be awesome if Mr. Clark saved
Yeah,
everybody. Clark is
like-
cool. Yeah.
Like I feel like it's just, or it could be fucking Vecna taking one for the team and destroying
Yeah.
the Mind Flayer. You know, like I feel like it's gonna be
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
that we're not thinking, because the Duffer Brothers have done a great job of kind of steering us one way and then going another on certain occasions. I don't know if they will do that to the end, because we all want, not that we want a main character to die, but we all know that a main character is going to die, and who would that be now, and
Yeah.
why are they dying? Is it because they're saving the world, saving the friends, or is it just because they're collateral damage? So we don't know what's going to go on, but I feel like it's going to be someone just fucking out of the left field.
Could
Well,
you?
I can see that.
Could
I
you
think
see a
Jared's right.
scenario? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think you're right, because like one of the things the Duffer Brothers are really, really excel at is bringing all the storylines together. It's not always
Yeah.
like super clean, but they always bring them
Yeah.
together, and everybody has a role in that. Like, for example, Vecna doesn't get all torn to pieces if Steve and Robin and Nancy don't attack him in the attic, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that has to happen, plus the Lucas and Max thing has to happen, plus the Dustin and Will thing has to happen. So like I think they do a pretty good job of that. The question is there anybody that goes above and beyond? And the only two people I would say that they foreshadowed are Will and 11. From
Mhm.
that standpoint, I mean, we know that they're
Yeah.
the most powered people. So
I feel like Will's the like he's the he's got the trauma. Like you could see that being like they've set that, but it almost becomes more obvious. But I'm kind of wondering, I could see a twist where somehow Vecna joins with them to take on the greater evil, and he
Yeah.
ultimately ends up sacrificing himself because he's like real, that whole redemption, like what I've done, this is what I deserve, but I'm going to go out on my shield sort of thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if that's one route they went.
And that leads to Nessie's question. That's what I was going to say. What was a twist that would shock you the most? I think it would be that if
Yeah.
Vecna were to do that and sacrifice himself to defeat the Mind Flayer that we do know.
Or if
that-
they bring that dragon, bro, the 3-headed dragon that they've always showed.
Yeah, I'm.
Who did Nancy see? Who did Vecna show her? We don't know.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what that scene was again, because the only time I ever seen the 3-headed dragon was the drawing that Will gave to Mike,
And
we know
then
that-
and then the piece on the Dungeons and Dragons board, and when they're
Yeah.
talking about it in the first
Without-
season, they're
well,
talking about that's like
it-
go ahead.
they said that was a Demogorgon. That when
Oh,
Will threw it down, he said it was a Demogorgon, but
The 3-headed
also-
one.
that was also a 2-headed dragon that he threw down
Oh,
on
it's
the chest
2-headed.
or on the board. Yeah,
Wow, good catch.
yeah. So there's a lot of things I could try. What were you gonna say though, Jay? You were gonna say something.
No, I don't think I was. I was just coughing.
Oh my bad.
Yeah.
Just coughing. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there, boys. Any last words before we head out? 'Cause we could talk for hours, and I know it's getting late for you guys.
Well, one for sure. I think I want to see Eddie come back and Camazotz just for a little bit. I want to see them kill off 8. She better sacrifice herself. Right. I want to see Steve do something heroic, but I don't want him to die. And then I want Hopper to get his closure. He's always having flashbacks of his daughter. So hopefully something like that. And then Will basically is getting his power. So I think he should be the one that sacrifices himself, because 11 can go somewhere with Mike later on. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I'm at.
I will say when it comes to 8, I'm not going to go into detail, but I think 8 is not a good person. I think we're going to see 8 kind of change, or
Wow.
we're going to see some kind of bad in 8. I don't think it's someone that they can trust, in my opinion.
That would make sense.
Yeah. Any
I
last
agree
words for you, Jared?
I agree with all the stuff Tommy said. I at this point, I want to be completely surprised. I would love to have something completely out of left field that I just wasn't expecting, but I kind of do expect the whole Vecna to not be the real big bad. There's a bigger one out there. This show does play off tropes, so in some ways you do expect it to kind of play off of some old movie trope, maybe. But yeah, I'd be totally cool if there's just like a random thing out of left field that just kind of shocked everybody. I would be surprised. I think there will be at least one major death. There could be 2. I don't think it's going to be like you were saying. I don't think it's going to be Game of Thrones, but I'm very curious about if there can be like this time travel element to it and all that stuff. So I'm definitely intrigued by it. I'll put it that way. It's been a long time since I've been into a show where I was like this intrigued about what's actually going to happen.
Yeah. It's been a minute for me too. What about you, Jay? Any last words before we head out of here?
Hey, it's still my favorite show of all time. I hope that they close it out well, because I don't want it to not be my favorite show of all time, right? I think a lot of what has been said is true. I think another person that could definitely die is Murray. Murray, because you have to look at, like, is there something beyond this that this character could do? And Murray is just kind of one of those guys who doesn't have any future storylines that are apparent. Right. So it's easy to kill off a character like that. Eddie was the same way. Bob was the same way. It's not like they had anything going on that was going to be a thing. Whereas I think some of the other characters, you look at them and they go, oh, like, for example, if they kill Robin or her love interest, that ruins what could be, because we can all foresee a future where they're together. Right.
Exactly.
So, like, not to say that they're not going to do that, because they could easily do that, particularly her girlfriend. But I like where the only future Will has is if Will goes on playing D&D, but the guys are not playing D&D anymore. So, like, what's Will going to be, some sad loner who, like, doesn't like, I just don't like that as an ending. Right. So
Yeah.
you look at that, you go, okay, well, he could sacrifice himself. So I think the Duffer Brothers will end this playing well. I almost don't like to predict too much of it, to be honest with you, because I want to
Me
be surprised myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Ending shows is tough too. Like, I think that's one of the hardest. If I was to make a show, like, the ending has got to be the toughest thing to bring in, because it can really impact the entire show. If you've done great things and then the ending kind of falls flat, everyone looks at it different.
Yep, it's 100% true. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm gonna like, well, on this last one, I almost said this earlier in the show. On the last one, we were talking about, like, whether they should release these things. Like, I watched 2 episodes and I turned off my phone. I deleted YouTube and Instagram, and I was like, I don't want any spoilers, bro. Like, I'm not into this at all. So you will find me on Christmas Day just binging the entire thing, so I don't get spoiled.
I saw you and Jones live, and I was like getting ready to go to sleep, and it like was playing, because I like to listen to somebody go to sleep, and I saw you guys like, no, and I'm like, I love you guys, but no.
Yeah, there's so many theories that I have, and I know Jay, we talked about, like, certain theories that to come true. But I think when it comes to just having theories in general, it connects a lot of friends and stuff. Like I'll call up Jay, be like, "Hey, what do you think about this theory? If it possible, like that's what got me into content creation in general." And the fact that I've done so many theories about this show is what wants me wanting more for the next season or the next episodes, and I can't wait. So I'm excited to see what is going on with that. What is going on with my theories? If they're wrong, if I'm completely fucking stupid, I would love to know. So I think that's what I'm most excited for. But gentlemen, I appreciate you guys so freaking much. We will definitely do this again once volume 2 is out and volume 3. But we'll start with you, Jay. Thanks again for joining. If you could tell the people where they can find you on social media, please.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining the chat. I appreciate you all. You can find me over at How Stories Work with Jay Shear. Over there, I'm generally talking about one of my movies and how I made it, or I'm talking about other people's movies and how they made it, because I'm trying to get better at making movies. So just How Stories Work with Jay Shear is where you can check out what I'm up to.
Yes, sir. Chat, make sure you guys go give them a follow. How Stories Work with Jay Shear on YouTube. Tommy, thank you again for joining us, brother. I appreciate you. If you could tell the people where they can find you as well.
Man, I appreciate all you guys, man. Tones, you've been killing it, bro. IG, TikTok, YouTube's next. You locked in, bro. Jay, the short films, you're going crazy, man. That disclosure is crazy. Maybe I'll be an actor in one of them. I'll sneak that in there. Jared, bro, way to go, bro. I see you popping up on everything. You and your significant other. You guys are on like every platform, bro, like knocking stuff out left and right. But no, I love Stranger Things. I'm definitely down to come back in between Christmas and New Year's too, if we have time, if it permits. If not, maybe after the finale. But are we gonna all be crying? Who's dying, man? Who knows? But, yeah, but no, I appreciate you coming on. This was fire. I'm even down to come on and just talk game about other stuff. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube, all my food reviews, Vegas theme park, Tommy Toon World. Instagram is more day-to-day, Tommy Toon _. Then we got that TikTok going, Tommy Toon _world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go show some love to Tommy, guys. And Jared, appreciate you, brother. Thank you for joining us. If you could tell the people where they can find you on social media, sir.
Yes, sir. It's been a lot of fun. I love doing this. I love breaking down things into exact details, like granular. I want to do this as well eventually with like Avengers Doomsday, because I have tons of thoughts. Because I grew up reading the comics, so I'm just like, they've got a very narrow lane to get this right. But no, it's a great time. Love talking this stuff. You can find me at Cap the Magic, and enjoy hanging out with you gentlemen. And I'm totally down, by the way. I actually I'm planning on doing just like a Christmas chill stream. So if it does turn into like a Stranger Things talk, feel free. We might figure it out and hop on and talk about that. So I'm not going to go to Missouri for Christmas this year, so I got some downtime. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it. And I'm very, very curious. We're going to all get back and be like, what did we just watch? Or disappointed. I feel like I don't feel like it's going to be a middle road. I think it's going to be like really happy or like, How I Met Your Mother. That's kind of it's going to go.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get that one. Hopefully
yeah, that'd be bad.
But yeah,
chat, depressed that would be, dude. I would be so depressed.
Oh,
especially because it's your favorite show.
I know, exactly.
Yeah. That's how. Well, then you'll feel my pain, because Game of Thrones was my favorite show, and you saw that ending. So you would finally feel my pain, Jay. Well, chat, make sure you guys go show the fellas some love. If you guys want to find me on social media, Tones_TV on everything. Go show some love to my social medias. We do a lot of stuff on TikTok first, so if you guys want to catch anything first, go to Tones_TV on TikTok. We do a bunch of lives. We have the people in the chat come up and say their piece after episodes, so go show some love over there. But as always, chat, I love y'all. Make sure you guys love your hug your loved ones. Tell me you love them. Tomorrow's not promised, and we'll catch y'all later. Love y'all.